press Y to honk.
Why?
Ha ha ha.
Oh,
Hello, everybody. This is not.
topical.
It's not the Untitled Goose Game. It's non-standard action, and I'm Seth. Hello. How's everyone doing?
Hi.
I get the reference.
I didn't.
Dying.
I was.
Anticipation is killing me.
It's been 2 weeks. I
It's been
didn't
2
get good
weeks.
sleep last night.
I'm
sorry,
wish
the
I could say I was
anticipation
joking.
is killing you.
Oh.
It's not as bad as last week. The last time we played Starfinder, I signed off and Seth was like, "Okay, see you later, killer." And I signed off. I had to sign back on to call him something I can't say on the stream.
Mother Pronker.
Yeah,
A
that-
drunken fleam head.
All right.
Kids
well,
watch the show.
shove it up
Do
your
they?
doozle. Is that what we call
No,
this?
I don't know.
With me, as always, she's pale and she's small, and with her friend, she knows it all. It's Mouse.
Oh God, I'm first. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, the pressure.
He's big, he's a lizard, and he's part entropic wizard. It's Ninden,
Hello.
the Rhyphorian mystic who's got the quick fix, Kalen,
Good morning.
and the goopy boy who happens to be an envoy, Herald.
Good afternoon.
That was a
All
really
right.
good one. I
Depending
like
on
so.
time
that
zone.
boy who happens to...
Yeah, no, Goopy is the best way to describe Herald.
Oh, what's up, Manapot? Thanks. That's awesome.
Hello.
Did you guys just
We
get done
love you
playing
guys.
something? All right. So, yeah, we left on a heckin' cliffhanger, and then we had to take a week sabbatical.
Understatement. Understatement.
Because we did not have everybody present. And I think, as you will discover, I wanted everybody to be present for this episode. Hopefully that makes a lot more sense now. I told y'all that I didn't want to have an episode where somebody was absent, and hopefully that is justified.
Yep.
Mm,
Now,
yeah.
what was the last thing that had happened since when we left off 2 full weeks ago?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I remember.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll get you
remember.
covered.
How could you forget?
Is there anything that we want to talk about on the top of the episode, or do we just want to get right into it?
I have to know. I have to know what happened.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I guess let's play some Starfinder then.
Acceptable.
That's what everybody wants. Let me
Yeah.
All right. So, in the control room of the Illuminant Heart, your previously tolerant, though not very welcoming host Ilvatri held up his end of a very one-sided bargain. If you were to defeat an eldritch creature that had entangled itself with the darkness engine located in the other room, the very engine that produces the darkness that gives Ezorad its shape, he would furnish you with the knowledge you sought, how to save Ninden and Gur from this cursed state bestowed upon them by the Ishtayev. Per his explanation, this curse was the slow erosion of your friends from within, as the darkness they had inside was consumed by this outer god of radiance and flame. To rid the curse, one would need to destroy Ezorad, enabling the outer god to escape its prison and concern itself with the incomprehensible goals and desires such a being could have, rather than lashing out in such a confined space at smaller living creatures. Ilvatri also explained that he could never allow them to do this. Unsatisfied with this answer, Gur attacked Ilvatri, causing the massive being of molten flesh and bone to try and destroy the team. During this desperate fight, Ninden felt his powers stir, an invitation, something warm and familiar offering itself to give him the strength he needed to defeat their foe. Exploding in intense, sickly green energy, the Vesk delivered a powerful attack that obliterated Ilvatri in a single strike. He did not notice, like the others, that the source of this power appeared to be none other than his friend Gur, who upon this event appeared to be drained by a beam of the same coloration, and his rapidly emaciated form hit the floor right where he stood. And that is where we are picking up today.
Kaylin runs to Gur and attempts to
Ooh, me too.
heal him,
Hmm.
if at all possible.
What's
Medicine
happening?
check.
Did I hit it?
Yeah, no, that's something that I think I left out in the intro. Ninden is still technically blind for a little bit. It's role play time now. You're out of combat, so whenever your vision starts clearing up, that's fine by me.
Okay, cool.
Anybody who's rushing to Gur's side, it looks like almost everything that made the internal structure of his body has been drained. Like all the muscle that you're used to seeing there is gone. There's cracks in the skin. His eyes are sunken in. It's like he lost like 2/3 of his mass almost. It's insane.
Is he breathing?
Super no.
What?
Somebody tell me what's happening.
Gur's.
Kaylin hits him with her biggest healing spell anyway,
Hmm.
because she has no medicine and she does not think to check.
That's true. Kaylin doesn't have medicine. She's like
No.
she's like somebody who's really good at driving but doesn't know a thing about cars. Oh wow, that's a very good. That's 30. She rolled a 30 on her level 3 Mystic Cure.
Yep.
So what happens is you see some of the external wounds start healing up. Overall, the skin starts to look healthier. However, there's no substantiality return to his form, and more importantly, he doesn't start moving.
Mouse gets down on her knees and begins chest compressions.
Okay.
Ninden at this point will start
Staying
alive. Rubbing.
Staying alive.
Ninden's rubbing his eyes. His vision is slowly coming back, I imagine, and he looks around and everybody's kneeling around Gur. He says, "Gur, what? Is he breathing?"
I just stopped to check.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. Staying alive. Staying alive.
What happened to him? Who saw?
Mouse, he's... Let him go.
No! No, Gur! Gur! Come on, buddy! Ha, 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 ha! Stay alive! Stay alive!
Ninden, can you describe what you did there? At the end of the fight?
I finished the fight. He's gone, right?
It
Oh yeah.
appears so.
Ilvatri was disintegrated by that singular strike. It was quite a powerful blow.
But how?
I don't know. I felt something. It's like what I feel with when I use my power. Sort of stirred in me. It felt like I could use more. I had access to more strength, and I don't know how I knew. I just knew that this was what I needed to do to beat him, and so I called on it. Why?
Well, it looks like it caused this.
Gur died for your stupid attack!
Mouse,
No.
let's not hurl blame.
She's
That-
still trying to do chest compressions.
No, that can't be.
There was
How could I?
There was some sort of energy that left Gur and was channeled through you to the warden.
I've never done anything like that before. He looks down at Gur. And it just, trails off.
Well, we still we still have a mission to do. We still need to get you free from this prison.
No, because that would involve releasing the Eshtayev, and you're not going to do that for me. Especially if this is my fault. If I killed Gur, then there is no way in hell that I am leaving this prison.
Remind me who were the only two people bound to the prison, Gur and Ninden?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gur was one of them. Though, Mouse, I imagine Mouse probably in a form of distress. Maybe her mind would start wandering over to things that will help distract her from the current situation. Could I get an engineering check?
Sure thing. At least I'm good for something.
It's 27.
Okay. Yeah, it's not too difficult to realize something occurs to you that the person who was making sure that this whole place was still running doesn't exist anymore. And you don't know how to operate these machines. They're a bunch of glowing crystals with no labels or language of any kind.
Well, I don't know how much longer this prison's gonna be working anyway, guys.
What do you mean?
I mean, we killed the warden, and I don't know how to run this place.
You think it's going to fail on its own?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Do I think that it would fail on its own?
You've never known a machine to run perpetually without any kind of maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only a matter of time.
Then the choice is out of your hands, Ninden.
But I was just trying to defend you all.
It's not your fault, Ninden.
No, it very much looks like it is.
Ninden, if anything, it was my fault. I ordered us to continue this mission even when it became clear that it was not in the universe's best interest. I've killed Gur and saved you and doomed others. I think it's time to just head out.
We still can't leave until we...
Fix
set
the
Eshtayev
problem.
free.
What was that?
We still can't leave until we set the Eshtayev free. Luckily, it sounds like it's only a threat to the outer gods.
For now. Who knows what it'll do once it's done with them. Maybe it will decide that all the other gods have darkness in them as well.
Oh.
We'll pay what is due. For now, let's do what we can. We don't know what'll happen, but our fates are sealed on that particular dimension. Remind me what's in this room, in particular what this engine was. I vaguely recall it being important.
So Ilvatri explained that device in the northern corner, the one that everyone is standing near, is called a solar inverter. What it can do is it can take the energy of a star and generate a negative inverse amount of energy for it. It essentially takes all the sun's energy and creates pure darkness, the opposite of what feeds into it. It doesn't take an engineer to understand that this is something that somebody who has interest in exploring the sun would very much like to have.
All right. Mouse, let's salvage that engine and bring it back to the DCI.
How do How do you want me to move it? I usually have Gur help me.
We'll figure it out. Let's move
Ninden
people.
stoops and grabs Gur's body, lifts it gently, not grabs, but
It is substantially lighter. It's the sort of situation where you could very easily, like almost like a towel cloth, just kind of put him over your shoulder.
yeah, Ninden's just sobbing while he's doing this.
Herald will try to distract his team by giving them various jobs. Obviously, Mouse's job is sort of the most time pressing, but try to give Kalen some work figuring out how the rest of this room works, and Ninden might just need some time to mourn.
All right.
Usually, Mouse would be chatting with Serendipity on this kind of task where they've got like different things, and she'd be having her running diagnostics and stuff. But partly because she's suffering from some ability score damage, and also because, Gur's dead. Serendipity is actually very muted in her normal colors. Like, they're a lot
okay.
less saturated, and they're not glowing as brightly, and she's not even talking to her.
All right. You don't need to make a check. You're taking your time understanding how this engine works. You're able to figure out how you can disassemble it, remove it from its aperture, and put it into a state where, with the assistance of one other person, you could pretty easily just carry it out.
Here, I've got
Ninden?
it, Mouse.
Oh. Thanks, Captain.
I guess while we were looking around, did we find anything else in the room? Any other
No.
interesting things that the DCI might want?
You wonder if they would be interested in the darkness engine, the one that the color was wrapped around, but the size of it, and the size of the entrances and exits of this strangely angular location, you don't believe you would be able to extract it. So that's unfortunate, but there's nothing else here really. Like there's consoles. You think photographic evidence might do at this point. You do still have your drone following you.
It caught all this.
That has recorded everything that has happened.
Go home, team.
All right, let's go.
So, once you disconnect the solar inverter, everything gets a lot quieter in this room. This was initially, there was some humming because there's some sort of energy being generated here, but it falls to that unnatural silence that you're all too used to hearing, being here in Ezorod. But as you start to leave the room, slowly you start to notice things. There's a very subtle shake in the edifice. The substructure kind of vibrates beneath your feet. And as you look around, you can see that the stone-like material that surrounds you here in the Illuminant Heart kind of starts to crack and come apart a little bit. And you watch as little pieces of the wall start to separate and kind of float in front of you as they slowly begin to disappear.
Oh yeah, we'll pick up the pace then.
So you think that maybe without the solar inverter, the darkness engine will not be able to maintain the shape of Ezorod for a whole lot longer.
Yeah.
And with it, does that include the force field around it that is protecting Ezorod from, the inside of the sun?
Yeah, let's just get back to the Sundiver as quickly as we can. So the Sundiver will be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So recognizing that there is actually kind of a threat here, the crew starts to make their way up, out of the Illuminant Heart and back up to Ezerad. I think all the pieces are still here. Yeah, look, handy dandy. So, as you emerge from the Illuminant Heart, you notice that the cracks are much worse here. Not only that, what starts to happen is from within the cracks you see flames, the same color as the flames as the enemies that you've been encountering here, and from the walls, you start to see wraiths, revenants, all manner of molten, flaming skeletons start to come out of the walls, start to come out of the floor. At first, they don't really seem to notice that you're here. They seem to be more interested in tearing down the walls, but a few of them do start to take notice of you as you emerge, and they start heading your way.
Ignore them. Head for the ship.
All right.
He did not have to tell us to do that, but that's okay.
Nenden
Mouse
is following along silently.
Yeah. Mouse is tugging at the engine, despite Herald's orders. He's being pulled by the engine that they're carrying, the inverter, I guess. So you make it out to the portal pad, and you can open up the Sundiver. The ramp slowly lowers. It's like a horror movie. The car won't start. You're much faster than these creatures. It's like they haven't walked for a bit. As you start to get onto the pad, you look behind and you watch as this veritable sea of these creatures start to come out in droves, approaching the vessel.
Well, that's creepy.
You're able to get on. I'm sure probably there's some shots exchanged, people shooting at the crowd to try to cull the herd a little bit. But the ramp closes and they start to bang on the landing gear.
Get us out of here, Kaylin.
With pleasure.
And Mouse and Kaylin are able to put their collective know-how together to perform a cold start, getting the Sundiver ready to fly only within a couple minutes. The engine roars to life, the shields rapidly enveloping the craft as it takes off, landing gear retracting as you head anywhere but here. The sensors continue to pick up little of note, and then suddenly, without warning, the darkness enveloping the ship gives way, and the dimmers on the displays on the external cameras have trouble compensating as they display just bright white. It slowly corrects itself and starts to show the familiar sight of roiling plasma. It seems that you have successfully escaped Ezerad.
Keelan sets a course for Dawnshore once again.
The Archipelago.
The Archipelago.
Don't you try and cheer me up with your funny mispronunciations, Seth.
I'm sorry. Hey, I forgot to say this at the top of the episode, but it's okay to feel things. I'm alright with that. You can feel things.
Oh yeah, no. Emotions are good.
Show you feeling things.
You can't make me.
I said it's okay. I didn't say you have to. So as you turn one of the monitors to the rear cameras, you can see the dark bubble, flames licking over its sides. As you distance yourself, you're not certain if the prison's eventual disappearance from your sight is due to it being separated by so much flame, or due to it being destroyed and devoured by the Ishtayev. Maybe you will never know.
Kind of hope not.
I imagine we'll know fairly soon, actually.
I suspect so.
Hey, Gur.
What?
You wake up.
What?
Your mind is in a hazy state. Like when you wake up after staying in someone else's house. The first thing you see looks like an overcast sky. Gray shapes formed above you with what looks like watercolor streaks of different hues that brush against the indiscernible texture. vanishing into more gray. It feels like you're laying down in water.
Where am I?
Gur kind of takes a minute and then sits up.
Looking around you, you find yourself in what appears to be an infinite and shallow lake. A mirror-like reflection on the surface mimics the sky above, allowing you to see yourself if you look down. You are wearing whatever outfit you identify as being your favorite outfit.
He's absolutely wearing that suit.
Sure.
I wasn't wearing this. What? Oh, Pronk. I'm dead, aren't I?
And he just kind of lays back down in the water.
Yeah. As you try to figure out exactly where you are or what's happening, you start to regain your senses. You smell something like a lichen and moss, something verdant but meek and stale. Slowly, sounds start to take shape on the still air. Even though you can't see more than what must be only 30 feet in this low-hanging fog, you do hear what sounds like a song being played. You can't
Oh?
quite. You can tell what direction it's coming from. Also, it actually has a discernible source.
Well, I think Gur would probably make his way towards that after appreciating the music for a little bit.
Sure.
Realizes, yeah, I should probably find out. I should probably check this out. I don't know how this is supposed to work, I guess. Oh boy.
You've never been dead before.
So this is weird because you don't really remember a whole lot of what happened recently. Your brain's a little bit hazy on, like, you know who you are, you know where you've been, you know your friends. The most recent details, those are missing. You can't quite recall. You know that you were about to go do something important, and now you're here.
Got it. Okay.
That's just kind of where you're at right now. You walk for what feels like a few minutes. The sound of the music getting a little louder. You start to see pale sand break the shape of the water before you. Stepping from the shallow water onto the sand, you look to the source of the music as it's gotten much clearer. You see a large set of rocks, and sitting upon them is a figure playing a stringed instrument of some variety. They don't notice you at first.
Yeah, Gur will actually kind of approach, not that closely, and just sit and listen for a while.
They continue to play for a bit. It looks like they're lost. Do you take a closer look at this individual?
Yeah. Gur will spend some time kind of inspecting, trying to discern who or what this being might be.
Something very odd about looking at this person. All of their features are very vague. You can't place anything specifically. This is especially true for the face. It's almost like their body is not defined. But their face is almost blank. You can tell where it is, but you can't see eyes, you can't see a nose, you can't see a mouth. It just kind of looks like a collection of stars, something that you might think that a unicorn would leave behind as it flies through the sky. That's what their skin seems to be made out of.
Jeez. After a minute or two of listening, Gur will and inspecting this odd being. He's gonna get up, and if there is a break in the music, he's gonna just kind of say, "Oh, that was a beautiful song."
The music stops immediately. They were, they had finished playing a couple songs, and they just kind of finished. They filled the space with noodling a little bit. But the moment that you speak, they stop playing, and they go, "Oh, It looks like we have a newcomer today. Their voice is almost cheerful. They put down their instrument and leap down from the rock and take a couple steps in your direction, but they give you a comfortable amount of space. What's your name, friend? That's important here.
Uh, um, Gur. I mean, my friends call me Gur. My name is, my name is Guruk Gortooth. Nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you, Guruk. May I call you Gur?
Sure, why not? Been
They,
too partial to it, but sure.
they,
It's grown on me these last few months.
they bow deeply and say, I am Thalomar, lure of the infinite lake. One of them, anyway.
Am I, Leif, supposed to know who that is?
No, you have no idea. This is a name you have not. No.
You're just,
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. What am I doing here?
You've, this is a question I get often. It's kind of my job. Where you are, people have many names for it. This is a place in between, for those who are not dead, but not alive. If you are familiar with the Lady of the Graves, it would appear she has no place for you yet, though neither does your corporeal form. So, here you are.
I see.
and Gur takes a good long while to ponder this, but he's just not putting the pieces together. He's missing some vital information. So he'll just kind of, get lost in thought for a minute.
It's a lot to take in. I understand. It's a surprising amount of people arrive here, and we have no idea how large this place is. However, there are others like me, and I can take you to them if you'd like.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, what would they be able to do though? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Remember.
Remember what? And yes,
Everything.
I realize how ridiculous that is, but Gur doesn't.
Remember everything. Remembering is the most important thing to do here. It is required.
Okay.
I'm not the best person to explain this, but here, let me take you. We have a village. It's called Persistence.
Yes. Very good. Very good. I suppose let's go. I trust you, and he doesn't know why, but he just feels implicit trust for this person.
Sure. They quickly clamber back onto the rock and grab their instrument, slinging it over their shoulder before hopping back down next to you and gesturing towards a path. Shall we? They guide you further inland from the beach, arriving at a footpath that parts wild grass. You see things that are familiar, such as trees and flowers, though there's no wildlife that you can see. The sky remains overcast with strange colors running between the clouds, stretching beyond your vision, trapping this strange world and yourself beneath its shroud. Thalomar goes on to explain, I'm here to usher people who arise from the lake into this strange place. For a time, people merely existed here, lost as our distant ancestors were before the invention of language and society. Though there are those of us who have spent quite a long time in this space. For those of us that learn the ways of this place, you can live some form of life. It isn't ideal, I understand, but when you don't have a choice, what else would you do? Sit around here and make sandcastles?
I rather like sandcastles, but what do you mean no choice?
Well, you're not trapped here. You can leave, but not of your own volition. You have to be summoned. And when that does happen, it's a joyous occasion. But as you'll come to find, not everybody gets called back.
Wait, excuse me, what?
Well, you'll understand very soon. You see, I'm a member of an organization, sort of a church, something of an order. We call ourselves Those Who Remember. Our father, our head priest, he's been here for quite some time. He will be able to explain a little bit better how all of this works.
Well, we'd better get to him then.
All right. Hey, Sundivers.
Yeah?
Yes.
Woo. So you have escaped Ezerud, and I presumed you have entered the coordinates to return to the archipelago correctly. Kaylin
Where else would we
already
go?
indicated as such. So indeed, things are much quieter now. You find that after escaping onto the ship and letting it take care of navigation and flight for you, you now have time to kind of figure out what happened and really talk about it.
Ninden has not been joining the rest of the crew. If they're meeting and talking, he's sort of shut himself in his room, his quarters, just meditating and thinking back.
Herald is probably interested in having a word in private with each of the crew members, just to get a feel for how they're processing this. Is there anyone who in particular would be willing to talk to Herald about this? I don't know how Kaylin and Mouse are dealing with this.
Mouse is one of those people who doesn't process. She's one of those people who it's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not gonna deal with this trauma. I'm just gonna, shove it into a box. And so she's been hitting the treadmill hard. She's been doing push-ups. She's been doing pretty much anything she can to not think about it. She's been throwing herself into her work. Yep. Denial and repression.
It hasn't been quite that long yet.
Well, she will.
Yeah, I figured that's where she'll go. Yeah. You're still. It's probably a good idea for you to keep an eye on the engines, because the rapidity that you started it with is usually not good for them. Normally, spaceships have quite a long startup period, but this time you needed to go fast. So.
Oh God, she's down in the engine area.
Yeah.
That's Gur's area.
All right, then the extent of your therapy would probably be Herald saying, "Hey Mouse, do you need any help down here, or should I just leave you alone?"
No, it's fine. I just need to get, everything in order. Like, I don't, the tools are, well, for one, they're all hung up a good couple feet higher than I can reach easily. So, I'm moving the shelves. She's got like a power drill, and she's moving the shelves down, just to get to everything. Like, it's loud and there's stuff everywhere. She is just rearranging everything.
All right, well, it looks like you have a firm handle on everything down here.
Yeah. Kind of busy right now, boss.
Yeah, of course. Just, you know where to find us if you need help. And he'll get over her. Where's Kaylin at?
Being the practical one, Kaylin will be looking. She'll be in Ger's room, see if she can find any instructions. Any kind of last will he might have had.
You don't really have rooms on this ship. This is a kind of a packed, tight space. He has a room back at the DCI though.
I guess we did leave most of our stuff there.
Yeah, it's this ship. It's like a kernel, like a corn kernel. It's very small, very tightly packed.
She could be
Finding
going
sleeping
through his
arrangements has
bunk.
That's true. He could have some stuff left behind. I don't know. Leaf, does Gur have any stuff, any personal effects left in his bunk?
On the ship? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not.
Ah, okay.
Well, in that case, she'll be on the flight deck,
Sure.
keeping an eye on things.
I hope that's not coming through.
What?
I think we're good.
There's a car alarm going off.
Oh,
Not
I
hearing
can't
it.
hear it.
Good.
Yeah.
Herald will find her in the flight deck and sit in one of the chairs next to her, like the co-pilot seat.
Hey, Captain.
Spin around idly. I'm really tired of losing crew members, Kaylin.
Me too.
Is it something about us that drives people to get themselves killed, despite our best efforts? Maybe we're not trying hard enough.
You do inspire a rather, how do I put this, insane amount of loyalty? No. I don't have the right word. Too much loyalty.
Should I, try to inspire less?
No. Besides, Gur was a hero. He was always the type to throw himself in harm's way for his friends anyway. I think he'd want us to be proud of him more than anything.
Kaylin, your comm unit goes off.
She checks it.
It's a reminder for burger time.
Oh,
What's that?
Burger Club.
Burger Club.
Oh no.
You are a
Come on.
monster.
Ninden, yours
Come
goes
on.
off too. Of course.
She goes down to the
Sure.
culinary synthesizer and makes a bunch of burgers. What does Ninden respond to his burger time alarm, or does he not show up?
Nah, he doesn't show up. Not now.
In that case, she brings a giant platter of burgers and knocks on Ninden's door.
You want to take this one, Kaylin, or should I?
I've got it, but you're always welcome for Burger Club.
I suspect Ninden would needs small one-on-one conversations right now.
All right. She brings the burgers to Ninden's door and knocks.
Yes.
Hey, Gur wouldn't want us to miss burger time. Plate of burgers. Someone's got to help me eat his.
Come in.
She comes in. I imagine he's probably sitting on the floor.
Oh yeah. Back to the wall.
Yeah, puts the plate of burgers down in between them. Sits down. How you holding up?
I've been thinking. Trying to remember. Kaylin, when... I don't know that I ever shared with you how I came by these powers, necessarily. I may have shared general information on it, vague... whatevers. I was on a mission. And I was on a team. And I was the only one that came back. they had to send another team in to extract me and anybody else who was there. Ever since that day, I had these powers. I could manipulate this energy. What's worrying me is, Kaylin, what if I did to my team what I did to Gur? What if that's why I was the only survivor? What if I had my back up against the wall and I killed them all to stop the enemy, and I just blocked it out, and that's why I was the only one that survived? Do you think I could have done that?
I don't know, Ninden.
I don't either. And it's eating me up. I don't know that I can ever... I don't know. We have to find some way to bring him back.
I can't heal death.
It's true that you can't heal death yourself, but you're both aware that that capability does exist. It's just something that you can't do right now.
Yeah, perhaps the DCI can help us.
Maybe Tendon
Resurrection.
has some contacts as well with the church.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's true. But we look at all the wonderful things we've discovered for the DCI. Gur sacrificed his life for them. If they can't help us in this, then what good are they?
He sacrificed his life, and what did it get us? We unleashed a god killer on the universe. We were put in an impossible situation, and we had another option.
Leaving you was never an option, Ninden. You're a
Gur
part
is
of this
dead
team.
anyway.
But we have his body. We have the rest of the team here. We can bring him back. Believe me. At least we didn't die down there.
So, amidst this discussion, and at the same time, everybody on the ship, even though I know that Kaylin and Ninden are probably already feeling a hefty amount of this, everyone suddenly begins to feel a very strong surge of emotion. It overwhelms every feeling that you currently have. This sense of doom and dread just overtakes everyone simultaneously. At first, it makes no sense, but anybody who's next to another person can see that from their eyes that they're experiencing the same thing. And before long, you realize that this isn't your emotion that you're feeling, but it's somebody else's emotions.
I imagine we're reminded of back in book 1 when all of the psychically attuned individuals on the station felt something like this.
Yes, very good. It reminds you a lot of what these telepathic, sensitive folks described going through when the portal, far portal, fell into the sun.
Ninden looks over at Kaylin. Kaylin, did you just feel that?
Actually,
Yes.
the both of you understand that this is some sort of psychic communication. You know that somebody is attempting very hard to reach out to you right now. And you know that because you both kind of felt this same thing, both when you were in Asana Town and both when Bar Portal fell. You got a less intense version of this, but this is crazy. It almost takes over your brain. But throughout this sensation, you suddenly hear words. And in the words, you hear somebody calling, "Hello, do you hear me? Please, please hear my call."
Nendon
Um,
raises his non-eyebrow at Kalen.
Did you?
I guess Harald.
Kalen tries to reach back with a
I got it.
message.
Thank
Hello?
goodness. Travelers, you are so near. I feel that the anchor has been lifted. I feel that I can reach out now. You must hear me. My name is Feifel, protector of Kalanal. For many years, we have tried to contact the people of your world, but we have been unable to reach you. For some force has prevented the connection. I don't know what you've done, but I am forever grateful. For now, more than ever, we need your help.
How?
Help?
I.
Help with what?
The Ifrit of the Plane of Fire have been moving within this star, the one that you call Mataris. Those flying the banner of the Malika seek to claim it as their own. We have been trying to warn you of their movements for so long, but now we have drawn attention to ourselves. Our haven, our only home, Kalanal, has been attacked by the Malika. We are in dire need of assistance. I beseech you, please come to our aid as soon as you are able.
What do you know about the
There are.
Ishtayev? What is your relationship to it?
I don't know what you mean.
All right. Give us your coordinates.
You can all kind of hear each other. It's like some sort of psychic concert, so you all you can understand what you all are thinking in this moment through
Weird.
this connection.
We're
Captain,
kind
we
of en
have to,
route home.
and we have to take care of Gur first. There's no way that we are going there before we help Gur.
I mean, ultimately, Mouse, you know that you don't have the fuel to do that anyway. Anywhere you go right now is going to be a one-way trip, so probably
we have
best to go back to the archipelago first.
Well, I'll at least tell the voice. We don't have enough fuel to both get to you and get back home. But we'll return to where we come from, and we'll summon whatever resources we can, and then come to help you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to reach out now to the archipelago. I know that's what it's called. You've been there for decades, and we've never been able to communicate, but I will warn the others. I'll let them know of this danger.
Be careful. The Maliki have agents in the archipelago.
The Malika have agents here in Kalanal.
Well, good luck. Hold out as long as you can.
Thank you, Traveler. Please, as soon as you can.
Would I be able to know anything about like what it takes to be able to amplify a psychic signal like that?
Do you want to know if something can amplify a psychic signal?
Yeah, technologically.
So hybrid items, you can work on hybrid items with only engineering, right? You don't need mysticism.
Correct. You can identify and work on them with either.
Right, because magic and technology are so closely infused together. You are aware of such devices. However, just thinking about the logistics, you're probably receiving a communication from some place deep within the sun. And the sheer distance that this communication is coming from is a psychic amplifier that you have never even heard about or conceived of. Something like this would be really dangerous in the wrong hands, probably.
Which means that like as soon as that signal gets to the archipelago, people might set out to try and find it.
Right.
Captain? Boss?
Yes?
I'm saying this
communication
over
has-
comms now.
Yeah, the communication has dispersed, so you can feel that emotional presence is no longer there. You're back to feeling your own emotions now.
Whatever's able to amplify that kind of that kind of signal, super powerful, and basically we can't wait on being, we can't be second in finding these people.
Oh, no, you need to go to the archipelago. You have to go there first. So
Yeah, I know we do, but it's still like, she starts like rattling off stats and things and comparing them to other devices that you've heard of. Kind of like she's comparing things to like the Hadron Collider of whatever this world is. And like how many times more powerful it would need to be in order to amplify that signal. And it's like
a psychic signal. That's crazy. Because like the EchoNet is packed worlds wide, but it has a giant relay system. It's an electronic signal that can be bounced around. This is literally someone's mind power talking to you over who knows how many kilometers of distance.
Yeah, so, and imagine if anyone you don't like got a hold of this.
I understand, Mouse, but I don't think we have any choices. Also, it helps that the Sun Diver's the only ship that we know of that can go into the sun. And if the Maliki are already there, then I don't think we need to change our course.
Well, fine then.
And she just cuts off. This was the closest that she's been to normal since Gur's death, because she was focusing on the stats.
Mm-hmm. You get a glimpse of the classic Mouse.
Yeah.
Just numbers.
Now she's back to, I'm not mourning. I'm working. I'm too busy to mourn. I'm busy. So next time you see her, she's gonna be like looking at like 5 different screens, and they're all gonna be running numbers, because she's gonna just focus on that.
All right. How are Kaylin and Ninden processing this recent burst of information together?
Quick rules clarification so we don't lie to our viewers.
Uh-huh.
You do need mysticism and engineering to work on hybrid items. You have to
Gotcha.
have both. You can't just have one.
Well.
But
sorry for the.
We don't need to change our story. I just don't want to lie to our viewers.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Ninden would pick up a burger contemplatively or contemplatively?
You're both right.
I usually go with contemplatively.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're an authority on word pronunciation.
Yeah, you're really not.
Okay.
Sick burn!
Mouse, you watch as a beam of sickly green energy slowly drains Herald's essence.
No, wait!
Shrivels up. Instead of being a starfish, he's just like a stick with five nodes.
He turns into a shrinky dink.
Oh no!
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
That's okay, we just need to put water on him again.
Like a dehydrated dinosaur.
So Ninden will pick up a burger contemplatively and take a bite.
Never forgive you, Simon.
Take a bite. So if that was the same voice from back on Far Portal Station, or the same feeling, then. I suppose. Yes.
Yep.
The same feeling of, impending doom. A feeling that I am getting too comfortable with. That means that this person, or being, they've been in trouble this entire time.
So it would seem this does explain that feeling of doom that's been emanating from inside of the sun.
But why? Why a feeling of doom? Are we getting like a I don't know, are we seeing inside their head? Like, or inside their feelings, as it were?
Kaylin, you probably understand this a little bit better as a mystic. Intrinsically, part of psychic or telepathic communication involves emotion.
Right.
Certain things slip through. Like, it's not just it's not just words that show up in your head. It's
There's
smells.
a disturbance in the force.
It's touch. Like it communicates more than just words. It's
like
for those who
telepathy.
a little bit. For those races that speak telepathically as one of their primary sources, such as like the Lashunta and the Shirin, they often have names or identities that are more true than a spoken one, just because you can kind of get a feel for the other person, and this
Right.
sensation is very similar to that, but it's all bad. It's 100% negative.
It doesn't translate into your profane human tongue kind of thing.
No, somebody's not speaking to you. Somebody's not speaking to you pleasantly with like the smell of fresh cut lawn grass or something. Like, this is just doom and despair, and please help.
The smell of despair. Yikes.
Yeah, the smell.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Smells like team spirit.
I suppose we'll we have to fix Gur. We have to make sure that he's taken care of. Bring him back if we can. And then I suppose we can see what we can do about these people, because it sounds like we are going to have a mess that we need to clean up.
Well, if the Malika group is after them, then help them and find out why.
All right. Hey, Gur.
Oh, what? Sorry, I was double muted.
No, double mute. I get to double down on the mute.
Hey, when you're dead, no one can hear you scream.
Dead men don't talk on Discord.
Yeah.
So as Salamar takes you through this in-between land, you find yourself passing simple structures, farmlands at first, with people working in the fields, harvesting various crops. Each of them is just as vague as Thalamar themselves, some of them more so. Some of them almost look blurry. And Thalamar looks over at them and says, "We don't know if we need to eat in this land or not, but what we know is that food helps us remember." He stops in his place and kind of leans over the fence to watch them for a moment. Those that forget, those that don't follow the practices, they lose themselves. Some simply wander into the mist and we never see them again. Others take on a different shape, a different form. Sometimes they become harmful, and we have to defend the innocent. He looks over at you. It seems like they recognize you. Like it looks like when you look at them, there's some puzzlement on your face, but to them, it seems like they can see you almost. It says, "You look like a defender to me. Am I wrong?"
I'm not certain. I think so. Yeah. Yes, I am.
You don't see a smile on Thalamar's face, but you feel a warmth. Even though I don't know you, I feel like I understand you. At least some of you. You have such a strong sense of self, and that will help you here very much.
And Gur just kind of gives a nod.
Thalamar shrugs off of the fence and starts walking again. Eventually, the two of you enter a more dense environment. Simple stone path taking over the form of the dirt path that you've been walking on. It leads between some stone houses. There are figures of different people going about their daily routines. They seem to recognize Thalamar, and they greet them. Their gaze shifting to you after greeting Thalamar, recognizing that you're a recent recovery from the lake. Thalamar gestures at the houses and says, "You can live here. There's a boarding house for the recent arrivals, a place for you to stay until you build your own. It's common practice, and you won't be bothering anyone, trust me."
I suppose I'll do that. Thank you.
They stop at a structure with an open door, and they offer to show you in. Or if you'd like, they'll take you on a tour if you'd like to understand your surroundings better before you rest.
Yes, that'd be nice. I don't feel all that tired.
Good. Well, I suppose I'll take you to see Father Droghud then. We call him the First Memory. Nobody knows how long he's been here, himself included, but he's the one that has kept so many of us from losing ourselves, and he can help you too.
Oh, that would be nice. Yes. Let's go see him.
All right. So you get taken on a tour of the town of Persistence. It's very simple. Like think medieval village. Like the one that King Arthur shows up in at the beginning of the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. People are not doing well here, and a lot of them they're very downtrodden. Their features ill-defined. A very common theme here. But this is the town of Persistence, and it seems like it's working out, at least to some degree. But towards the end of the tour, you arrive at another stone structure. This one has much more presence than the other structures you've been seeing. This one is assembled with a little bit more care. It's carefully cut. It wears the facade of a church or some similar place of worship. Inside, there are rows or seats leading up to an altar, and above the altar is a large symbol of two lines joined together as though to retain each other. You're starting to sense a theme.
Ger shifts a little uneasy, feeling a little small in this place. But
it does seem large.
Yeah, but otherwise he continues forward with his guide.
Speaking of Thalamar, once you've noticed the symbol here in this place, you notice that Thalamar has actually been wearing that symbol on their person. You don't know if maybe it was imperceptible at first, or if it's just something that you failed to notice. It's possible that you just didn't recognize it, and now that you do, you recognize it on them. Before this altar is yet another figure, but something is different about them. Their clothing is clearly defined, their shape solid, just as much as you are, which is something that you've noticed whenever you look at yourself in a reflection. You can see yourself very clearly. And just as clearly as you can see yourself, you can see this individual. The Thalamar steps forward, and there's no dogmatic or customary salute or motion of prayer. They simply speak openly. They say, "Father, I have brought someone, Guruk. He has just emerged from the lake."
Hello, sir. And Ger steps forward and kind of tries to act all ceremonious and bows his head a little bit.
The figure slowly turns. Their face is just like the rest of their body, clearly defined. You're not certain what race or species he is, but it's not because it's not because of vague features. It's because you've simply never encountered this species before. They have an elongated lower half of their face, almost snout-like. They have tall antlers curled above their head, decorated with greens like vines and small blossoming flowers. He acknowledges your presence. His expression isn't one of joy nor sadness. It's just very stern and melancholic. His head dips and he says, "Greetings, Guruk. I am Father Droghud, the First Memory. I am the father of persistence, the father of those who remember, protectors of the lost and those who wait to return."
It's very, very nice to meet you. And Ger's just kind of awestruck at the just figure before him. But after a minute, a couple seconds, he kind of regains his composure and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, did you say the
the lost and those who will return?
Yes. Everyone in this space has been lost. Everyone in this space can return. You cannot choose when you return. But in order to return, you must remember. Those who do not remember are lost forever.
Remember. I had
Remember
something
you.
I was...
Remember
I
yourself.
had something I was doing. There's something that I had that was really important I need to get back for.
He slowly holds up his hand and shakes his head. The small details, not as important, though they can help. You just need to remember who you are, Guru.
Who I am.
If you want to return, we welcome you with open arms. If you want to help us on our mission, we will embrace you as a family. I don't expect you to know what you want to do at this time, nor do I expect you to have that answer anytime soon. Just know that you are not alone on this journey you've found yourself on.
Well, I thank you.
He bows his head.
I suppose I have much to think about.
And,
Edgar's just kind of realizing that he doesn't actually know what he wants to do.
Sure. There seems to be an understanding. The father welcomes you to stay in the church if you like, to think if it would be a helpful space for you to remember, to collect. And Thalamar will, whenever you're ready, guide you back to the boarding house so you can have a place to rest when you feel tired.
Yeah, Gur will actually. He's not really a religious person, quote unquote, but he's actually going to spend a little bit of time thinking in the church.
Sure.
Before he does go back.
All right. Hey, Sundivers.
Yo.
Hey, Seth.
How's it going?
It's alright.
Not great.
Mourning the
Very
lost
sad.
friend and all that.
Yeah.
Trying not to.
So,
Like, just picture that gif of, can't catch me, bad thoughts, basically.
Yeah, just dealing with existential crises.
Well, speaking
questions
of-
of self.
you're nearing the end of your almost week-long journey back to the archipelago. So you've had some days to put this behind you, at least to some degree, compartmentalize certain feelings, etc. So how are people starting to spend their time now that they've had some time to let that heal?
Ninden has been alternatively working out, just blasting his core, as they say. Just trying to get fit, trying to distract himself with that. But when it gets too much and it sort of overwhelms him, he's actually, again, meditating in his quarters, but also praying to Pharasma for guidance questions.
Gur-
He's not exactly religious either, but like he spent a lot of time with the priests of Pharasma trying to explore his entropic abilities before the events of this adventure.
Sure.
You're gonna come back from the dead, smack you upside the head for saying blasting my core.
Hey, look, as somebody who in real life recently started going through rituals where my core is blasted, I'll tell you what, that'll make you an honest person. the suffering that puts you through.
The suffering of the blast.
Well, if it wasn't before, now that this channel's definitely not safe for work.
Goodness. All right. How about the others?
Go back to the underworld.
Yeah, get back down there. He's just stomping Gur back into the underworld.
Oh no!
Can't keep me down.
But yeah, how about the others?
Oh, probably just the usual.
More of the same. I mean, what is there to do on a small spaceship over this amount of time?
Yeah.
Video
Saren-
games.
Meditate. Play with plastic
Serendipity
dinosaurs. The usual.
keeps.
Ah,
We'll
your
call it
sudden
this
but inevitable
land.
betrayal.
Yes.
Our land.
Serendipity, like every day, keeps suggesting new like meditation apps and getting over grief not getting over processing grief apps. And every day Mouse is just like dismiss.
Right, sure. Later. Think about it later.
Harald, having gone through the circuit of his crew, will sort of process his own grief. Mostly like hiding it from them. Probably the only manifestation they get is like thoroughly reviewing past mission logs on his commuted on his bunk.
So something Mouse notices probably before the others is that you're actually starting to approach the archipelago, and it's only, you swear, you've only been in communication range of the archipelago for moments before you start getting a hail. There's a sound. I'm playing a sound right now. There's a sound playing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awkward.
No, that's serendipity.
Yeah. That's serendipity.
She's linked up to the ship, so the mouse gets a separate notification.
Hail forwarding, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Hail forwarding. Yeah. Forward that hail.
Masculini.
That's not
Hey,
annoying at all.
Serendipity, make a note to change your ringtone. It's done, Masculini. I'll remind you at this time tomorrow to change my ringtone.
Ironically, it will be to the ringtone. That will remind me.
But by this point in the farce, Harald probably would have found his way to the commune and answered the hail.
Okay. Yeah, and as soon as you turn it on, Nib's face is too close to the camera. It's like she's standing on her chair and leaning over her desk, like looking at the camera. She goes, "You guys,
Oh, God.
you're
We
back."
Can see her nose.
You can probably see up her nose a little bit, yeah. You guys, you're back. I'll get the recovery team to the docking bay. We have a lot to discuss. You don't even know.
No, you don't even know.
What do you mean?
Well, Harald tries to decide whether this is the right time to talk about Gur. Decides to focus on the mission first. Did you receive a communication from,
Faithel.
Yes.
Yes, the whole archipelago got that communication.
You know, we told her to be discreet.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot to talk about.
Alright, we, lost Gur on this mission.
Would you... Like he's lost on Ezerod?
We have his body.
Oh,
We'll
God.
need to deal with that first.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Harold.
Thank you.
I guess we knew it would be dangerous, but I thought you guys could handle it.
We can handle it.
Yeah, just get back and we'll figure it out. There's a lot to figure out. That's just something that we'll also figure out.
Right. I knew you'd have our back, Neb.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
We're all out. I guess we'll finish our journey.
Yeah, it's not too long. So the thing that's different now about the Sundiver is since its upgrades, it no longer needs to leave the sun in order to prepare itself to enter the appropriate approach vectors. It can just drive straight to the archipelago. So you approach Dawnshore, and you go through the docking ring, and you start to lower down. Does everybody come to the bridge for this, or
Yeah.
the landing procedure? And I apologize. It's
Kaylin,
starting to-
obviously.
Right,
Someone's gonna
yeah.
land it.
It's true. I apologize. It's starting to rain very heavily where I'm at. There's also some thunder involved.
I haven't heard
So-
anything.
Yeah,
don't know
still
if you're-
can't hear it.
I don't know if you're going to at any point. Just letting you know, there might be some spooky thunder, which
Let's hope it's
Totally
appropriately
unintentional.
timed.
we'll see.
Those are the best moments.
Yeah. So yes, let's see. As the ship approaches the docks, the underside cameras. See, did that come through?
That did.
The underside cameras capture a much larger audience waiting outside the hangar bay this time. All flavors of dockers are standing, holding signs, taking pictures. You notice that gathering of congregants appears to be much larger this time. A Kasathan figure in robes, gesticulating at the Sundiver as it approaches the waiting doorway of the DCI's hangar.
Does he look happy to see us?
Oh, you don't know. They have a mask. Kasathan. Their emotions are excited.
Hopefully it's not like, they've doomed us all!
Right. You see the faces of the people in the crowd. There's a mixture of emotions. There are people who are just there to see it come back because it's a historic moment. There's people who are curious about what this psychic communication was and want to know if you have any answers. They want to know so many things. There are also people who are there just for the memes, taking selfies, whatever. This is their Area 51.
Somebody Naruto runs by.
Sure. Yeah, behind somebody who's newscasting the event.
Yep.
They're both mowed down by machine guns.
I don't think anybody died from that. I don't think anyone died.
Yeah,
I
well.
don't think. Well, not that we're ever gonna know.
No. Anyway.
So
In
once
the
you've-
past have we been responsible for this sort of crowd control, or is this something the DCI has wanted to handle?
So previously the crowd wasn't that bad. You were able to just kind of like hop in a vehicle and leave. But you think that this crowd is pretty substantial. You would hope that those your coworkers in the hangar have a solution set up for you.
All right.
What
Go for it.
What are we doing with Gur's body?
Ah, yes,
Are
that
we
was
leaving
my
it on the
question.
Sundiver? Ah, perfect. Because obviously we don't want to carry it out into the crowd.
Mob, yeah.
Well, the hangar is closed to the public. They can't get inside.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just a matter of
we
getting
can load him into the car
through.
before we leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll call Nib and ask her. Nib, it looks like there's about 10,000 people between us and the hangar.
She replies. She's like, just focus on landing the ship. We've got it. We know. It's a problem.
We should really have like a secret dock or something.
A back entrance or something.
Like a
So
back cave.
once you've landed and extended the ramp, you're greeted with a familiar sight of your coworkers waiting for you to emerge. Different people in their ready positions to check on the ship, to check on the crew. They're less jubilant this time, though you still hear applause. The mood is noticeably more suspenseful than it was last time. Immediately, Nib and Teres come running up as you emerge in order to get a look at Gur.
Yeah, we'll bring them back onto the ship so as not to make a circus of it.
Okay.
They can bring in like a stretcher or what have you.
Right. Yeah. Nib runs in, and Teres is following her with a medical scanner. And Nib leans down. She's like, "Oh God, Gur, what happened to you? What happened? He looks terrible."
It's complicated. With a glance to Ninden, Herald will say, I don't think we want to get into it right now.
Sure. Yeah, we'll take him back and we'll examine him. We'll see what we can do.
Herald will nod, looking very serious and expectant.
Teres has a very grim expression as she's looking on her medical scanner.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
There are spells that could bring him back.
Yeah, magic. Magic would work, right? Magic might work. And Teres just looks down at Nib and shrugs. It might work. That's not
what
something
we're
that I
hoping.
know a lot about. All right, well, let's focus on getting out of here first.
All right.
So, when you emerge, there are additional vehicles in the hangar, ones that weren't here last time. Nib gestures over to them. It's like, we got some help from a friend of yours?
Which friend?
Ninden, you recognize this immediately. You and Gur were the only people to see this, actually. But you see armored vans sitting in the hangar with the Stinger 7 logo on the side. You last saw these at the Horizon House. This is the Sheeran mercenary group that sprung into action once you took down the leader of the Sunrise Collective.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Oh, Herald, they're okay.
Standing by the closest vehicle is none other than Pikturuk herself, the captain that greeted you mid-engagement.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We
So
were the only ones because we were the
cool.
only two that went out the front door.
Yeah. Something that I did not expect as a baby GM at the
And
time.
then, oh, how young we all were.
I know.
It was a
and
simpler
then-
time.
that was
and then Gur threw a
17
smoke-
episodes ago?
Gur threw a smoke bomb on the ground and we all ghosted away. Oh, Gur.
Back when we were saying this isn't our problem all the time.
Oh, that was a fun goof.
Yeah.
All right. What was her name again?
Pikturuk.
Seth? Pikturuk.
Yeah.
Ninden will walk over to Pikturuk and extend his hand.
She reaches out. Ninden, you don't remember ever introducing yourself to her.
Captain.
Well, we are
Pikturuk.
kind of famous now.
Right.
We are relatively famous. Captain Pikturuk, thank you for this is unexpected.
She does a reverse nod. Well, since you helped us get out of that situation in Asana Town, we've been keeping an eye on you.
Well, thank you regardless.
She nods. You're not really sure what a Sheeran smile looks like, but you think she might be providing a small one. Actually, I think Herald would probably understand what a Sheeran smile looks like more than most. You understand that she's smiling very slightly. Everyone else can only suspect as much. Mechanically, that's the situation. I'm laying down the law.
Got it.
Just know, she is smiling.
Indeed. You guys want to get
Acknowledged.
back? Smile acknowledged. Do you? So she gestures to her van and says, "Do you want to get back to the museum?"
Conk,
Yes.
please.
All right. Yeah. So you hop into the van. You're reconnected to the EchoNet, so you start getting all of your notifications that you've missed for almost 2 weeks of absence.
Oh man, gotta catch up on my memes.
You can start getting back onto the news feeds. Almost everyone is talking about this psychic communication. So, kind of predictably, not everybody got this message, but all the Lashunta, anybody who is telepathically sensitive, they all heard it. The mystics of the archipelago heard it, and it's their insistence that this happened and that's undeniable. And the upper echelons are trying to figure out what to do about it. There's all kinds of debates, talking heads going back and forth. There's a lot.
To be clear, they asked for help. Did they mention the Maliki group in this request?
Yeah. Everyone is talking about the fact, like, the communication explained that this group is ready to go to war, and soon. And everyone's trying to figure out if that's true. And everyone's talking about, well, wait, who's powerful enough to take on the archipelago? It's a bubble city in the middle of the sun. And like they're talking about how it's the Afridi, which, by the way, has not done great things for the relations with the Afridi that live here on the archipelago.
Yeah, that would
as you
that
can
would suck.
imagine.
The Maliki group has holdings in the archipelago, right? Like, it's a legal entity?
Yes. So that you notice that if you look up information about the Malika here, you know that all of their properties on the archipelago have been seized by the council government. So they don't own any of these properties anymore. There are currently a lot of Afridi being arrested and investigated to make sure that they don't swear allegiance to this military organization that might strike at any moment.
Bit of a mess, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And you also have discovered that the brass dragons have all but been obliterated. The whole group has been taken down through force.
Yikes. Ninden is reaching out to Tendon, sending him a message, just saying, when you're free, I have an emergency. I need your help with this.
All right. I think that this might be a good time to take a break. Do you all agree?
Sure.
Agreed.
Fine by me.
All right.
The dead don't need breaks.
You're on
Bye,
permanent
Timmy.
break.
You're on a permanent break. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man,
In which case, I guess the dead don't get a vote.
that's true.
Ha!
Oh, snap.
Except on EOS.
It's something that we call the 0/5 compromise. Dead people just don't vote. They don't count.
Oh,
Wow.
well, now I'm just feeling attacked.
You're like, yeah, never mind. God, it's so difficult to talk about people who don't get the right to vote without getting political with it. I've just realized.
We need a
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I wonder why
So,
that is.
how
It's
about
almost like politics comes into not letting certain groups vote.
That's so weird.
Anyway.
Hey, I'm gonna go find a bathroom. I encourage everybody else to do the same thing.
Wish
We'll be
me
back in about good luck, Tom, in your Harry Potter apartment.
Don't tell me what to do.
I said I invite you. I encourage and invite. You don't have to. It's not an order.
He
but,
will not tell you how to live your life.
We'll be back at 10 before the hour, 50 minutes after the previous hour. That's not confusing at all. So don't go anywhere.
So as I was saying,
Wow. All right, we have a new DM. Hey, Leaf. What happens?
Yeah, we.
I want to hear. I
Well-
want to hear Leaf's version of this story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Leaf's version of the story is rocks fall on Ninden. No.
Wow.
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 Whoa.
Vindictive.
Vengeful.
Vindictive.
I am a vengeful god.
Oh no!
I got
More
it.
like
This is why we don't let Leaf be in
Nin-
charge.
More like vindictive.
Yeah, you're all sitting there in the van, and then rocks fall on Ninden, and he dies in the van.
Jeez.
They were very small rocks, but they were moving very quickly.
very briefly, you can just hear him go, "Wait, what the?" He's just dead.
let me just say, this is why you guys don't want to let me be your Call of Cthulhu seeker. Just saying.
I don't know.
Just
You
saying.
keep bringing Hazel back every time she does something stupid and dies.
That's because Hazel has endeared herself to me, and she just throws herself at the undead, or the deep one, or the what have you,
She
and
finds all the
promptly
weird
gets
shit.
murdered halfway through. Anyways, we're not talking about this. We're doing other stuff.
Hi everyone. I found the bathroom successfully. I hope everyone else did too.
Too busy
everyone's-
talking about surgery.
That's true.
Today
We had a-
it was
we had
very
a-
nice. I just walked 5 feet to my right, and there it was.
Oh wow!
Where?
Yeah.
It's like the Mystic
house-
Elevator in Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
It works for you occasionally, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time out of 100 probably.
It was very cooperative today, which is good because we need help. Everyone needs a little bit of a crutch today.
It knew that I was having a hard time, so
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, you know what? Here you go. I'm not gonna make you work for this.
You,
Right,
you
right.
only get it when you're having a really bad day, though.
That's true. You have to have a really bad day, and then the bathroom will cooperate. This is a weird discussion we found ourselves in.
This never happens on this show, ever.
But yeah, I don't know. Not a lot has happened. I mean, like, there's not really a whole lot to discuss. I was going to talk about how the fact that I've been showing up on a show on Dark Galaxies Gaming, Relics of War on Mondays, but we canceled tomorrow, so that's not happening tomorrow. So I guess I'll just have to remind you all next week. I guess.
Put
Yep,
it in
you'll
your
have to
calendars,
remind me.
folks.
Yeah, unplugged.
Yeah, I'm unplugging.
That was a reverse plug. Yeah,
Yeah, reverse plug. There is a show. You can't watch it, so don't. Okay.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah, aside from that, I don't think
Plug.
there's anything else for us to get to. So do we want to just keep playing Starfinder, I guess?
Yeah, I guess that's why we're
Yeah,
here.
sure, fine.
I mean,
Is this-
Yeah.
Speaking
this
of pulling
Starfinder?
plugs, how about Gurr, huh?
Wow.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. Maybe I just won't come back from the dead then. I'll just stay where I'm wanted.
Yeah, he gets the summons back, and he's just like, no. Just
Don't wanna.
No, I like it here. They appreciate me.
I'm a rememberer.
It's like, is this even like are we playing Starfinder anymore? This feels like more of like forum role play, like back when I was in high school, where I just like type things at each other.
I think that's what it's turning to.
Yeah.
Or wait, hold on. No, I've got a better one. Is this not a JRPG? I'm sorry. What?
Okay, it's your turn. Do you want to attack, draw, GF, or magic?
GF?
Which GF?
girlfriend?
Girlfriend?
No, Guardian Force. God, I hate being the only person that likes Final Fantasy VIII. I hate being that only person. Oh well.
No, that's a lonely island, my friend.
Yeah, I know it is. And
Yeah.
It's a decent band, a decent video game, and it's all for me. All right, let's get back to it.
I was gonna say no one else can ruin it for you because let's play. Sorry,
That's
you were
fine.
saying.
Yes. Hey. Let's go back to Gur.
Oh, what?
You've been living here for a few months now. It's either taken up, you've taken up your time making a home for yourself, with the others of persistence offering assistance, to help you build the house. Something about the home makes it seem to anchor you here. It makes you feel like you're less likely to slip into forgetfulness. So you have like your normal stuff, like your normal daily rituals and what have you. But if I believe I addressed this with you, Gur has decided to join up with those who remember. Is that correct?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
I
So-
would also say in the spirit of remembering, he has on each wall. It's a very basic, simple house. But on each single room, but on each wall, he has written one of his friends' names, so he remembers.
Aww.
Oh, I like it.
So he doesn't forget.
So, as you are brought into this order, a lot of it involves you following Thalomar around as they kind of show you the ropes. They kind of show you what it means to be one who remembers. It involves a lot of just talking to people, asking them about themselves. You learn a lot about the people here. There's sometimes sad moments where you run into people who have gaps in information about themselves. Like they kind of know who they are, but they don't have as much of a recollection as you do, and you kind of recognize what's at stake when you talk to these people. But also a lot of this time is spent doing Thalomar's regular duty. You both go back to the Infinite Lake, the mirror lake that you emerged from, and he now sits down and plays his tune as you both just kind of talk and wait and see if anybody else arrives.
Does anybody?
No. This
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was saying, but I had myself.
Double mute.
Double mute gets him every time. Gur, I imagine after a little while, Gur would probably try to get his hands on an instrument as well and try to join him in playing.
Oh yeah. He was more than happy to have accompaniment. You both learn how to use your instruments. He's not a great player himself. He just does, and it's that sound that people find when they wake up that guides them to the shore. And he explains
Right.
That's what it means to be a lure. It's someone to call someone to the shore so that they can be helped. Because some people might just wander the Infinite Lake the wrong direction and then they're never found.
Right.
Right. But yeah, you as you come to know Thalomar more, he starts to take a more specific shape. You notice, he has eyes, he has a mouth, he has hair. His skin is still a sea of stars, but he insists that's not what he looks like in the material plane. But that's how he appears to you. But yeah, as time passes, you do eventually get to help him welcome like a couple newcomers. You go through the same process that you went through, but from the opposite end, and help build up the village of Persistence a little bit. Eventually, you start partnering up with other people of those who remember. Thalomar often works alone, so you find out because the lure doesn't really need assistance. However, the others that patrol tend to work in pairs, seeking those who need help remembering. You're not sure how long you've been doing it, but it starts to become routine eventually. You do anything from helping people build, helping them repair broken things. Sometimes you help them just repeat their own name for as long as they need to do it. You name it, it seems like those who remember are the people who take it upon themselves to be the people who help. So you're kind of like you're something like a benevolent police force here.
He's a social worker.
Yeah, a little bit like a social worker for sure.
Gur has found his true calling.
A social worker, social gurker.
So social worker.
Work gur, yeah.
Uh,
Simon is more intrigued by the second pun.
Gurker just sounds dirty.
Does a little bit. So, horny show, etc.
I showed her the Gurker.
No, okay, you took it too far.
It's Ninden. Ninden always takes it too far.
Oh damn. You don't know that.
Listen, I'm really sorry, okay?
You do kind of remember some details about Ezorad, and you remember that's where you were. The final moments leading up to what sent you here, you don't recall, but you understand that you were in a lot of danger, and it makes sense that you would have died there. It seems like a place that people die at.
Right.
So,
I mean, I imagine I remember some of the battles leading up to it, and
you do.
how we almost died multiple times in there.
Yeah. One day, as you're traveling along, you're walking alongside a large field, and you see a woman hunched over by her crop, presumably tearing up plants or weeds in a frustrated manner, bunching them up in her hands before you see her kind of curl up onto her knees. You notice something about her, though. Unlike most of the other people here in this land, her features are kind of sharp, much like your own.
Gur will approach her and kind of offer the standard greeting of the Rememberers and offer to help.
Your partner for the day notices something's up, and they stay back, and they say, "I'll let you take care of this one."
Oh, yes. Very good. I can handle this, I'm sure.
So when you approach, you hear her kind of softly sobbing, and she says, I can't remember his face." She growls lowly, and it's followed by a hollow sob. She sucks in a sharp breath.
Ma'am, what is the matter? How may I help you today?
As you lean down to kind of get a better look, you recognize the face of your mother.
Mother?
She looks up defiantly and proud. Like, how dare somebody come and try to help me? As if nothing is wrong. This is an expression you've seen many times. But in an instant, her face takes shape, and it melts. She recognizes you immediately. Guruk!
Mom! What are you...
Why are you here?
Why? I was gonna ask the same thing.
You idiot. She slaps you.
Mom! Come on. Not in front of the Rememberers.
She stands, her tear-stained cheeks, losing her marks of frustration, and she's... her expression melts into a mixture of sadness and relief, and she immediately embraces you. She seems taller than you are. You always remembered her that way anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And she hugs you strongly and says, Gur, my little Tusk, I can't believe you're here.
And you? What? Why?
I don't know. I remember you. That's how I've stayed, but I've started to forget. I forgot your face. I didn't remember.
That's understandable, though. It's okay. How long have you been here for?
I don't know, Gur. I don't know.
Come on, you've gotta come with me. We're gonna go back to the temple. We're gonna get this all sorted out. You shouldn't be here.
She looks around at this place. You can tell that she's disgusted with the fact that she's here. Very forceful personality. We're talking about the sort of person who, on a planet completely owned by the people who own her, in defiance against them, secreted her son away to get him to a place where he can escape that fate.
Oh, yeah.
You know that she probably feels equally trapped here, escaping one prison and entering another. You somehow have this understanding. There's some sort of preternatural connection between the two of you. but she agrees to accompany you back to Persistence.
Yeah, Gur leads her back to the temple,
Mhm.
and tries to assist in helping her remember. He's kind of focusing on her now more than the others at this point.
Yeah.
But he's going to spend as much time as he can with her, trying to help her remember and get back.
Yeah. On the journey back, she asks you a few questions. She goes, "Did you see the stars?"
Did I see the stars?
Yes. I
Well,
sent you away on a spaceship.
oh, yes, of course I did. And he's, he lies.
Did you find your father?
No, I didn't find him yet, but I'm sure once we get back we can look for him together,
She smiles in a way that you understand that she knows that's a nice sentiment, but she also knows how unlikely that is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she kind of resigns herself a little bit. She goes, "The Zayzairer, they can't hurt us here. We can live in peace. We can make it work if we make it together."
Gur stops in his track. What? You mean stay here?
She realizes that that's not the correct solution, but she looks out at the fields, some of the farmers nearby. She goes, "What else do we have? We started out slaves, and now here we are. We're trapped. We can't leave. We have each other. That's more than anything. Nothing, I guess. I don't know."
Gur just kind of takes a moment to think. Then he keeps walking without really saying anything.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're able to. I'm sorry.
We need to go speak with the. I can't remember his name.
Father Drughod.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We must go speak with Father Drughod.
You're able to take her to the temple, and you know that you come to understand that she's been here longer than you have, but she opted not to stay in Persistence. She decided that she didn't want anything to do with their little town, and she went and made a small little place for herself out farther away.
Classic
growing
mom.
her own, growing her own crops, making it on her own. She doesn't need anybody's help. But maybe she did after all. But you're here now, so I think that will bring us back to the Sundivers. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, Seth.
Hi, Seth.
So you're able to get
Remember,
back.
it's okay to feel things.
It's okay to feel things.
No, it's not.
You get back to the Museum of Endosolar Sciences and the DCI. They give you space. They give you the space to recover, to rest. They help you get Gur to the medical lab so they can run through tests, see if they can fix his body a little bit better. Nib says to take your time recovering, but you can tell she's ready to unload a salvo of news and briefings to you.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now. Why wouldn't I be ready? We've got stuff to do.
Nib looks between Mouse and Herald, and she goes, "Mouse, everyone needs to be ready, okay?"
Gerald nods, and looks at Ninden and Kalen. Looks at Ninden.
What?
Do you want to do the briefings now, or give it some time?
You get a message from your brother.
Some other time. I need to take this real quick.
Herald manufactures an eyebrow and raises it, but then turns to Nib and says, "Let's schedule it for tomorrow."
Always unsettling when you do that, Cap.
You watch as she very slowly and then very quickly starts scratching out something on her data pad with a stylus.
What does the message say?
Yeah, we'll meet up tomorrow. It's Tendon replied to your request for emergency assistance, and he goes, "I was waiting to hear back from you, brother. How did your trip go?"
To be clear, are we voice chatting or?
No, it's message.
Okay.
It's text.
Text. Okay. Yeah. Trip didn't go as planned, or maybe, went too much as planned. My friend is hurt. Possibly dead. He looks dead. He's very dead, but I'm hoping that you can help.
It takes a moment to reply. You get the whole, like, he's typing, and then it stops, and he's typing again.
Oh
And he
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
The reply indicates it is very sorry to hear that your friend got hurt, and he says if you can bring him to the cathedral, they'll see what they can do to help.
Thank you, brother. I will. I'll bring him by. Does today work?
He indicates that after a reply, he says it's going to take some time to gather the materials and the specialized people who are capable of performing such a task. They are currently indisposed.
Okay. Well, let me know as soon as it's ready. I don't know how much time we should wait. Thank you.
Tendon replies he agrees and that he'll make sure to stress the matter as much as he possibly can from his station.
Thank you, brother.
As you look away from your commune, you see the other four of us just sort of like staring at you, waiting to hear what's going on.
Oh, I had sort of.
Don't you mean three?
No, there's
Oh.
Nind there. I had figured that Ninden had actually walked off.
Got it.
Sure.
Got it.
So the rest of you are allowed to. You're back at your home, your temporary home, back at the DCI. But you've been here for like almost a couple months now, so it's kind of home-ish. It's very homey.
All right, Serendipity. Run my usual DCI routine.
All right, Mascolini. Well, on the calendar you have workout with Gur.
Woof.
10 to 12.
All right. Cancel that for foreseeable future. What's next?
Then you have lunch with Gur, since it is a Tuesday.
Serendipity.
Yes, Mascolini?
Search all and find Gur.
Done. There are 157 instances of Gur in your normal routine.
Delete.
157 instances of Gur deleted.
All right. Now run my routine.
All right, you have lunch alone.
Oh no.
Wowzers.
We'll just go. Oh, I know. We'll go find Gur's quarters. We don't really know what his ultimate fate will be, but we can at least like tidy the place up and see if there's any instructions there.
In this dorm room.
It's okay to feel things, guys.
Yeah, Ninden.
No, it's not.
The boys all share a room here, if you recall.
Yes.
Right.
They each have a bed, and Herald has a previously occupied planter.
Yes.
The
Of
plant was
course.
evicted on day one and has not
Vicious.
returned to its normal place.
Ninden is probably already in there, sort of tidying things up a little bit. If we took any gear off of Gur's body, like his weapons or something like that, he's laying them at the foot of the bed.
Yeah, they don't have any use in a medical lab, so they gave that to
Yeah.
you and told you to do something with it.
Ninden looks up when Harald comes in.
I see you got here first. Would you like a
Yeah.
hand?
Sure. He gestures to a pile of mostly, very lethal explosives that are just lying on the ground. More grenades than you can count, probably.
Oh gosh, should those be lying out cavalierly like that?
Oh, you can count them. There's, in fact, 12 grenades. And 17 explosive shells. And 13 regular shells. Thank you very much.
I don't know. Gur would always just have them strewn about like this when he was organizing them.
Yeah, you know, I see him picking up explosives whenever we find them, but I've never just seen them all in aggregate like this.
He did, he does like explosives. Captain, I spoke to my brother, and he said that he has a line on somebody who should be able to help with Gur. I'm hoping that will pan out. I just wanted to let you know I'm doing everything I can to bring him back.
Of course. I'm happy to help with this, Ninden, but I assume that this is something that you'd like to take the fore on?
I did kill him. We're a team. You and I and Kalen and Mouse and Gur. So I'm not going to... This isn't something that I necessarily want to do alone. And I do appreciate any support that you have. I know that you feel responsible too.
Harald nods slowly. Okay. When did your brother say that they would be ready?
Undetermined right now. He said the people that he needs are not around at the moment, but that he understands that we need to do this quickly. The longer we wait, the worse it could be. So we want to. He will let me know as soon as the people are ready.
And what are you doing in the meantime?
Tidying up his things for when Gur comes back. I don't know.
You're gonna ruin
Working
his
out.
organizational system.
You think I don't know how Gur organizes his things? I don't know, Captain. Why do you ask?
I've been on a fair number of teams that have lost people, Ninden, and he sits down. I'm just trying to get a feel for how you're handling it and what you need from me and what you need from us. I just want to make sure that if this doesn't pan out, you're okay. And that you don't put all of your eggs in one basket.
He's going to come back. But I'll be all right, Captain. I've lost teammates before as well. I can assure you that something like this won't happen again. Because I don't intend to channel that power ever again.
What do you mean by that power?
What I've done, what I can do. Entropy. There are some aspects of it that I imagine I'll never be able to rid myself of. But I've on the using it as a weapon, I don't know that I'll ever do it again. It seems like too great a risk, doesn't it?
You'd like to retire?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Before I had this stupid power, I was still a soldier and a damn good one. I did many missions. I relied on only my strength. And while originally I thought this entropy to be an augmentation of my own strength and a blessing, something that I could use to help more people, protect you all, I've come to realize that perhaps it wasn't a blessing after all. And that said, I do think that I can still protect you all and do my job without it.
I agree. I... No, I agree. Alright. I'll leave you alone. As soon as you hear back from your brother, let us know, and we can all go to the cathedral together.
Thank you, Harald. And thank you for coming to check on me.
It's the least I can do.
I should ask, are you okay? Because, again, as I know that you feel responsible as well, but how are you doing?
I'm a bit tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know about, Kaelin in my last mission?
Yes.
It all went sort of, like this. Maybe a bit worse. It's hard not to assume that it's, when you see a common factor between two disasters, it sort of only makes sense to attribute some of the blame to the common factors.
But, Captain, that would be like... Okay, so you get in a car accident, or a hover vehicle accident, and the sun was shining that day. And you think it was because the sun got in your eyes. And then you get in another car accident, and the sun is shining, but the second time it wasn't because of the sun. It was because the pedestrian was walking across the road, and you swerved to not hit them, thus creating the accident. I don't think that you are the common cause between these events. If bad things just happen sometimes, and you being around them does not make it your fault.
Not just me being around them, me leading them. I thought I was doing what was right by letting the Ishtayev go. I saw a fork in the path, and I saw that we could leave you and Gur behind. I chose not to do that. Still not sure if the rat was the right call, but I lost Gur anyways.
Ninden's face darkens at that. And I don't know that I'll ever agree with you on letting the Ishtayev go. I still think that 2 lives in exchange for the fate of the universe, possibly, is a small price to pay. But we'll never know. Now we don't have Gur anyway.
Maybe you're just a better person than me. But wouldn't you doom the universe to bring Gur back if that's what it took?
I don't know. I would give my life, but I don't know if I can endanger the lives of of everybody.
Oh, you can. It's just whether you're willing to make that sacrifice for well, whether you're willing to force others to make that sacrifice.
I like you, Harald. I like working with you, but this is concerning. I appreciate you valuing my life and Gur's life, but I don't know. There's a lot of that going around.
Gerard nods again. Well, you wanted to hear what was on my mind?
I did. And
Sorry to burden you with it. I know that we all have our struggles.
no, I'm glad to help if I can.
Gerard stands up and I guess heads out the door. Just let us know when your brother gets back in touch.
Yes. In the meantime, I suppose we could. I'm ready for debriefing with Nib. I don't know if everybody else is, but know that I'm ready when you are.
Gerald backs up into the room. Oh, you're sure?
I just need to tidy up some of these things in here, but there's nothing else we can do about Gur right now. So we might as well. We have pressing issues. We might as well tackle them.
All right, I'll have Nib clear her schedule again. All right, what's going for this afternoon?
All right. How about Mouse and Kaylin? What are they doing during this period?
Wishing I was there to knock their damn heads together.
Mouse is going through her normal routine.
Hey, I mean, the
Minus
DCI,
157 instances of Gur.
right. Also
Normal.
the researchers are going crazy, of course. Did you guys hand over the drone?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's data to pour over, and you know that they might have questions that you can help with. If
Yeah, she throws herself into her work.
there you go. So
It's always worked before.
Mouse is helping them pour over the data. Kaylin, it seems like that leaves you kind of alone, at least until you hear that the debriefing is going to start.
Yeah. Probably working with what's her face, getting the sun diver ready for another
Lurian.
trip into the sun. Yeah.
Well, actually, Lorian is not at the Sundiver. She's back at the DCI, and you've learned now that she's joined the organization at this point, just like Tayres has.
Right.
She's excited to find out what you discovered, because what she's going to be able to do going forward kind of hinges on what you found. So she wants to know what you found and how she can apply it to future technology. And such.
Yeah. So Kaylin's probably chatting with Lurian and figuring out how we can improve the sun diver.
Talking about that solar inverter.
Yeah, and getting
This-
ready to, launch it in for the rescue mission.
Right. There's a impossible number of. Oh no, the DCI is a pretty small organization, but all the engineers are just going over this thing, trying to figure out its mysteries. They're making progress, and it's working, but you don't know how long it's going to be until they fully understand.
Probably a while.
Yeah, but maybe they'll get something useful in a short amount of time, because it seems like you might need it. So Harald, you reach out to Nib and ask if she's free to do a debrief.
Yep.
There's a very small pause, and she goes, you get a reply indicating that she's free now.
She's been waiting.
Yeah.
for that
No.
message.
She had a meeting. She just immediately stood up as soon as she got the text message and left.
Yeah, she popped up out of the conference room and left, like with her thumbs just battering the comm unit. Just like a little jackhammer, the tiniest, clickiest jackhammer.
All right, let's go meet with Nib.
So cute.
She is kind of a cute character. It's a shame that she and Mouse will never, ever, ever get along.
They're too similar. That's the problem. She might even like Mouse, but Mouse does not like herself.
Oh, that's sad. That's really sad.
Why do you think she's so obsessed with self-improvement?
Right, that makes sense. It's relatable. Relatable content here on Standard Action.
Liz, we gotta
So
have the conversation with you basing characters off me.
I feel seen right now. I'm very seen currently. But no, you all make it to Nib's lab. Sorry, not her office, where she's customarily standing on her seat. You'd think she would pace on it if she could, but once everyone's there, she tries to put on a happy face, but she kind of does like a vibe check, and she's like, okay, maybe not happy. She just kind of
recalibrating.
Yeah, she respectfully nods at the team. She says, "Sundivers, good to see you here."
Nib, good to be back.
I bet. I can't even imagine what you must have seen. I know that the team is poring over the recordings, but I mean, that's a few hours of content, and I don't think fast forwarding through it would do it justice. So I haven't seen it personally. I'll get to that eventually.
Well, we found Ezerod, and it was roughly as it was described.
Freaky.
A prison of darkness around a creature of light and fire.
Uh-huh.
We freed it.
I'm sorry, you what?
We freed it.
Yeah,
Because
I
we
know.
had to.
She was doing some thinking, and she goes, because you took the solar inverter?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think the solar inverter's incredible. I think we're going to be able to do a lot of good with it, but do you think that freed the Ishtayev?
Oh, almost certainly.
Ezerod disappeared behind us after we left, and a horde of of the fiery creatures that we'd fought, that the warden said were minions of the Ishtayev, attacked the ship as we flew away. So it seems pretty probable.
She rubs her face a little bit, her mousy face, and she goes, "Okay, well, after the data breach, I'm sure you remember that. We started putting our data on secure networks. These networks don't touch the EchoNet, so nobody will know about this. The only thing people will know is what we release to the public. So you don't have to tell anyone."
Well, that's a relief.
Harald sits back.
But shouldn't we tell anybody? Shouldn't we warn people about this? We could have brought around the apocalypse.
In which case, what are they going to do?
She holds up her hands, and she offers a very small smile, and she says, "That's what we have upper management for. They can figure it out. We don't have to think about it."
Easy for you to say.
Plus, I guarantee you nobody is thinking about that right now. You have things to tell me. I have things to tell you.
You know more about this civilization the Maliki group is attacking?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so where do I start? I'm going to go over all that I know. You might know some of it. I'm sorry. I just have to go through it in sequence. It's just kind of how I operate. Okay, this is what I know. About 6 days ago, a strong psychic message hit all of the telepathics and mystics. Those sorts, a message from someone named Hayfel, who claimed to be a protector of Kalanal. She said she already warned some adventurers about the Afridi plan to attack the Pact Worlds, and she pauses and gestures at you and says, "I assumed it was you." But when that information hit the archipelago, it caused a lot of confusion, and things got really chaotic for a moment. They still haven't fully recovered, but it was... You should have been here. I mean, you had to have been here.
We've seen some of the action on the infosphere.
I imagine so. So, Asana Town is gearing up. A lot of the former Sunrise Collective members are suiting up again, and not a lot of people disagree with them right now. It seems like people are pretty worried about this attack. They're starting to understand, I guess, some of the evidence we've been finding through your previous missions. It's all kind of sliding into place. It seems like the Brass Dragons were a mercenary group. They were disguised as a mercenary group. They were actually a branch of this military force, and their goal was to sow discord on the archipelago so that it wouldn't be ready to respond to this attack. But you largely thwarted some of their biggest efforts, so it wasn't as effective as they were hoping it would be.
Well, that's good.
The council has been seeking opinions from everyone. This involved the DCI and their talks because of our interest and involvement with the situation. I have been in meetings all week, in person, on the net. It's exhausting, but we let them in on what you've been uncovering, so they understand. But now a lot of the Ifriti population are under close scrutiny from the local government. The Brass Dragons now, they're basically eradicated. All of the properties that the Malika Corporation held have been seized. So it's a citywide crackdown. But they also want our help, Lurian's help specifically, along with our researchers, to help them create the tools to start shoring up some battleships, maybe with shields that can tolerate the sun's environment, even for a little bit. The stewards are working with the council to come up with a defense strategy, and based on that solar inverter you brought back from the trip, it'll be a time crunch, but I think we might be able to help. It's going to be murder on the team, but if the archipelago is going to be attacked, it's the least we can do, because this is our home too.
That seems prudent. But what about the people who sent the message? It sounded like they needed help too. And if we have an ally in this war...
Yeah, it's true. I don't know how much she shared with you, but it seems like the Malika group's intention is to, after they finish subjugating Kalinal, they're going to use it as a staging ground, something as a primaterial base to launch their operations from. So it sounds like not only is it an altruistic action to help them, it might be a practical decision too.
What a fortunate concordance. Did you manage to get from her how long this attack had been going on? How long they've been trying to reach us? And blocked by Ezerod?
It wasn't specific, but it doesn't seem like it's been any longer than a month. She said, and she's like reading, because she didn't herself get any of this information. She's not somebody who can receive this kind of communication. She's not sensitive enough. So she says, apparently they've just been aware that this is the Malika's intention for decades. But only recently they've been attacked. This attack has only been going on for, I guess, under a month. It sounds like things are pretty dire, though.
Is about a month when the portal fell into the sun?
She counts on her fingers. No, it was a little bit... The portal fell farther back than that, but the timetable is very close.
Alright. Well, I guess we need to bring the Sundiver there, then.
I know, and she looks like she's about to ask somebody to sacrifice themselves, because ostensibly that's something that she could be asking. She's not specifically going to ask that, but like that's the expression that crosses her face. She feels so bad. She's like, just like last time, you're the team that's most equipped with this kind of travel. We don't have any ships that can reach Kalinal other than the Sundiver currently. I understand if you guys want to say no. I mean, especially because of what happened last time. We can train up another team.
Pronkno, this is us. You've got nobody else. And this is kind of our mess. Also, what else are we doing, right? Right, guys? I mean...
It's very much our mess. We'll be going.
She gets serious for a moment, more serious than you are used to Nib being. And almost as if this has become a military organization of some kind, she delivers another respectful nod. And she says, okay, I understand, and I know we've asked so much, and not just the DCI. The archipelago has asked so much from you, and Mataris willing, this is the last thing we have to ask you to do. If this whole thing ends up being true, I don't know what's going to happen. Everyone's so scared.
Well, we're all playing it by ear.
And
we'll do everything we can.
She looks down at her pad, and she remembers something that she forgot to bring up. She goes, oh, right, okay. She looks around a bit conspiratorially, and she goes, I know I can trust you guys with this info, especially because you've been gone, but we found out that some information has been funneled out of DCI's data stores and into the net. We don't know where it's headed, and we don't know who's doing it. We put our tech team on it, but the trail goes cold. Like, Mouse, you're welcome to try to figure out where it got funneled off to, but whoever's
She's
been
already
doing
like tapping into her computer.
right. Whoever's been doing it is damn good. Wizard class stuff. They've been transmitting data about your missions, data about the stuff you've uncovered, stuff that we haven't shared with the public. But it hasn't leaked out to the public, if that makes sense. Someone's taking the data, but we don't know what they're doing with it.
The one we dealt with the one who attacked us when we were
elf.
I forgot names.
The
The elf, yeah, him. What was his name again?
Oh shoot. Now I've forgotten this. Amaldril Versian.
Amaldril seems like the most obvious culprit.
I don't know. He wasn't tech. He was more artifacts. I don't know him to have this kind of capability.
And he's been dead for weeks.
Is he? I don't think we killed him.
That's not the report that I got.
We didn't kill him. We saw him escape.
Yeah, he got away.
Never mind. Redacted.
If I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the sort of professionality I would expect from a megacorp.
Dun dun
Galen glances at
dun.
Herald.
Herald nods. Well, if all we can do is try to track it down, and be aware that some people may know the specifics of what we've done. We have a much more important mission that we need to prepare for, and a comrade that we need to bring back. And we can focus our attention on those.
Yeah, it sounds good. Just let me know if you need anything. We owe you everything.
Do you perhaps have some credits to spare for purchase of equipment? I find myself in need of a weapon.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll probably also ask the church to talk to you about an expense.
But yeah, she says anything the DCI can do to help out is that they are going to pool all their resources. But she also tries to explain that they're currently involved with the government trying to figure out how to provide some sort of protection from the sun for any combat vessels that they suddenly need to start getting ready, potentially. So resources are a little thin, but they're going to do everything they can to help you out at the same time. Not the least of which is provide the materials that might be needed by the Radiant Cathedral to bring Gur back. That's covered by the DCI.
Herald nods, satisfied.
Nice.
Anyone else have questions?
No.
No.
I don't
Okay.
suppose we know anything else about the... what was the name of the city? The city that we're saving.
Oh, Cullinal?
Cullinal? Is it another bubble city? Or is it like Numa?
She
Noma?
shrugs. Yeah, she shrugs. I've never heard of it before. There's nothing in the writings about it. I think it's safe to assume that it's a bubble city.
Oh, I do have one question. How long did you say we have, if you did, until Wheels Up?
We could probably have you guys ready and refitted to go out within a day, maybe two.
Oh, okay. We better hope that Gur is back before then.
All right. I think we're done here.
All right. Thanks, Sundivers, again.
It's what we do.
All right. So you're dispensed back out into the DCI hallway. The group of you just kind of standing there. You've got time, but not too much time. So it's one of those situations where it's like you could decide to do something, but you don't know when you're going to be interrupted.
Mouse goes
You
right
wanna
back
go
to the
get
research.
I'm sorry, what was that, Kaylin?
You guys want to go get noodles? I think Gar would want us to
Sure.
go get noodles.
I could eat noodles.
Mouse is already down the hallway.
Oh,
Mouse!
nope, sorry, gotta go.
Mouse, come on. Let's go get some food together. We won't talk about Gur.
No, you guys go ahead. I'll catch up.
Hmm.
You guys worried about her? I'm a little bit worried about her.
Worried about everybody. But yes, she doesn't seem to be taking this well.
I find it's best not to force people to talk about things until they're ready to.
I guess. We go to our favorite noodle shop.
Okay. Yeah, everything seems a little. The air is different here in Dawnshore. The usual activity has been disrupted a little bit. There's still a lot of people who are just kind of doing their normal stuff. When you're at the noodle joint, the TV's on, the infosphere's up. Everybody's just kind of watching. People talking about the situation that's going on. That people are leaving the archipelago in droves, just in case. But there's a lot of people staying. The people who stay in Florida when a Category 5 hurricane is on its way.
Yep.
Evacuation?
Yeah, I mean,
nope.
you gotta have parties. That's
Cut to that gif of the guy with, bare chest and American flag in his hand screaming into the wind and rain.
I was just gonna say, Pharasma said I'd be fine, so I'll be fine.
I'll go when Pharasma says it's time for me to go. So yeah, the atmosphere is very weird. It's definitely shifted since the last time you were here.
We get
and then orders a double plate of noodles.
we get a smaller table than usual.
Oh.
Let's hammer that home as many times as we can manage.
Only for
Party
this
for-
time, Susie.
Three.
Even three now.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Mouse isn't there.
Yeah, because Mouse doesn't want to process feelings.
We got a tiny little booth. How are we gonna eat all these noodles without Gur? Oh no!
You realize that you ordered the same size. You made the mistake of going to Five Guys and ordering 2 orders of fries, and now you just realize that there's too many fries.
Oh.
Too many fries.
Alright, Harald eats his noodles in the standard way, shaping himself into the shape of the top half of a noodle bowl, making his bottom just a big mouth, and just working his way down the bowl.
I love it.
Harald, that's still unsettling to watch.
Wait, so he just turns into an amorphous blob that descends upon the bowl?
It's a bit like the face from what was that movie?
No fate. Well, I'm
No,
picturing kind of like.
I'm thinking about a really old movie, The Abyss.
Sorry, that isn't a visual that's going to be very useful for us or our listeners.
Yeah, I know. Very old movie, and I suspect that I only watched it because it was a movie that Dad had, and I don't think a lot of people have seen it. But it involved a liquid face that slowly pours down into the ocean, and I'm just kind of imagining
Ew.
that. But
Gross.
a bowl of noodles.
You know what, Seth? I know exactly what you're talking about. I have seen that movie.
Nice. High five.
I'm just saying it's the most efficient way to consume food.
He makes another mouth to say that.
Obviously.
Yeah. While he's eating with the other mouth, yeah.
Ninden
I got
pours
a
more soy sauce on his noodles.
breath mouth and an eating mouth. Because why do you put those in the same tube? It's so weird.
Anything else important we would like to do before scooting along to the next sequence?
Did Kaylin
that
want
was
to?
important.
Did Kaylin want to talk about anything since she called this?
Just figured noodles would be nice.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's good, it's good for the team to get together and nood it out. Wait, noodle it out. I just realized.
Careful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I realized what I had done while I was saying it.
It's a tradition when we're back in Dawnshore, to get noodles.
Get
Get
noodles.
some nudes.
Get those nudes.
Hot nudes. Anyway.
Send nudes.
They are indeed.
No, don't send us nudes. That
The
sounds
only
like
nudes I
something,
need.
I've
That's
been
the
watching a lot
name of
Brooklyn
their
Nine-Nine.
delivery service.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Butt stubble seen the abyss. I knew it.
Sounds
3
like something
people
Charles-
present have seen the abyss. Very boring movie. Super long.
Let's keep talking about it then.
Let's keep going about it.
I just wanted to add that Send Nudes is the name of their delivery service.
You just you go to their website. You open their app and it tells you what their menu is. But if you click on a button, it just says "Send Nudes" NOODS. It goes to their delivery page.
Yes, and they will send you nudes.
Yeah, they'll send nudes.
In a ball.
Now I want a real app called Send Nudes.
Yeah.
Send
Hey, we
nudes
should
to
talk about this
people.
afterwards. Hey, anybody listening? You don't have that copy. That's us. We copyright it.
TM.
Registered trademark.
Anyway.
All right.
Do we want to move to head to
Yes.
whenever Tendon gets back to us? Because we're probably not going into the sun until that happens. Well, deeper into the sun.
Right. I was gonna say a requisite amount of time passes, and then you receive a communication. Tendon's like, "Okay, we're gathering all the stuff. If you want to show up, we can start to prepare the ritual."
We rush back to the med bay and we gather up Gur
Mouse is
and
there.
all of our credits and bring them to the temple.
Right.
No, this one's
Mouse.
getting charged straight to DCI. Those suckers owe us.
Oh, that's right. She did say we could charge it back.
Mm-hmm.
Mouse,
we bring the corporate credit card and Gur and go to the temple.
Mouse, Ninden pokes his head in the door. We're going to bring Gur back. You should come with us.
She's like already there.
Good.
You find the room empty.
Oh, I see.
Although there's a little like answering machine kind of thing that's got Serendipity's logo, and if you press a button, it goes, "I'm sorry, Mouse Scalini isn't in, but you can find her at," and then gives the coordinates.
Ninden follows the coordinates back to the front door where everybody is waiting for him alone.
So the DCI has a number of vehicles you can utilize. One that will enable you to transport an unconscious individual, dead individual, unconscious dead. They're very similar in a lot of ways.
Can't we borrow a hearse?
Body's not moving. Situation.
He's not completely dead.
We'll just weekend at Bernie's him. It's fine.
Yeah,
We
hold
can
on.
make Gurney's.
Because I'm
I
a
think
little
you mean-
Weekend at Gurney's. Why didn't we pull?
Oh my god.
What were you gonna
Leaf, what
say?
did you want to
Respect my
say?
body.
What were you gonna say, Leaf?
I'm just curious. What, like, hold on. Is he not decaying in the real world?
He was.
Wibbly wobbly.
No, he was.
Time-
But through a combination of Kalen's magic and also the DCI using medical science to keep his body preserved, he's doing fine.
Fantastic.
Physically. You can see his body has recovered some of the mass that it lost. It's still wrong, but it's closer to what it used to be.
Thank you for answering that vital question. I'll go back to being dead now.
Well, I mean, these are important. This is an important word picture to paint because this is a very roleplay heavy episode. So,
Seth,
Yeah.
I have another important question.
Yeah, what's up?
Are we transferring Gur on a gurney?
I mean, it's already. I think we've already made this joke. I thought.
I don't think we
am
have.
I wrong?
I don't think we have.
I
I
think
think that's
so.
new.
Okay.
I
all
would.
right.
I didn't hear it today, and I would know.
It sounds
Congratulations.
familiar.
I think we've made it on
Thank
another
you.
occasion, but not since
Yeah.
the dead.
No, okay, no. We've used gurney as a reference to Gur being on a journey
Oh yes.
at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah. But not
That's
in
it.
relation to the actual item, the gurney.
Yeah, which I mean, you don't even need to modify it. It's just a pun already, just through sheer existence
is.
alone.
It's the best kind
Leaf,
of fun.
thank you so much for this wonderful gift of your pun-filled name. Your punderful
Thanks.
name.
I hate it.
It is wonderful.
All right, so we take this very solemn funeral procession, or not
Right.
funeral procession, to
Well,
the
it's-
church
yeah.
of Saren Ray.
Right.
Resurrection procession.
The Radiant
Yeah.
Cathedral, the tallest structure in all the archipelago, towering over everything, with its gleaming white and golden edifice, looming down at everyone, silently judging. No, Sarah and Ray welcomes all.
Yeah, she's cool.
So as you pull up, the requisite people move Gur to where the people of the church guide them to take his body. Tendon is there waiting as you step out, and as he sees you emerge from the vehicle, he greets you with a hug. Ninden.
Ninden clasps him.
Mm.
And,
He steps back and he says, "Brother, how are you doing?"
I've been better. I appreciate you taking us so quickly.
He nods, and he looks at the rest of the group and just kind of puts a hand on your shoulder and guides you a few steps away to have a smaller private talk.
Mm.
And he goes, I know what you're going through right now. I know you, and I've heard a few details, but I know you're probably blaming yourself. And I'm just here to talk. Let me know. What are you feeling? Let me help.
There's not much to say at this point, Tandon. I used power. The power in return used me. I was careless, and it got my friend hurt. So, for what it's worth, you might be interested to know that I'm just not going to use it anymore. That I can help it.
Tendon thinks about this for a moment. He goes, Saren Ray is a glorious deity. She is accepting. She is compassionate, forgiving. Her powers, the ones she provides, they're related to healing. They're related to restoration. But there are times where greater power is needed to defend those who cannot defend themselves. There are times where sometimes she needs to be utilized to attack. It's the safest way to make sure that as little damage is done as possible. Having power is not a bad thing. Its application is what matters. And I know I know in my heart of hearts, Ninden, that you are a good person. You are a good man. There is not an iota of possibility that any of this was intentional. Your gift, and it is a gift, has been used and can still be used for good. He gestures upwards for a moment and says, there are champions of Sarenrae, or those who proclaim to be such, who used her power incorrectly, who hurt people that didn't need to be hurt. Power can be used incorrectly, and you are not somebody who does that.
But I did. I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't know the consequences. And thus, I killed my friend, Tendon.
Very difficult expression crosses his snout. I understand. I'm just letting you know that I know you didn't do it on purpose. And that distinction is important.
There are other ways for me to defend my friends. I don't know that I can ever use it to attack, to harm others again. I got by without it before, and I can probably do so going forward. But brother, I appreciate your thoughts.
He nods. Maybe that's what it was intended for. Maybe you're just meant to defend. Listen, we can talk about this later. I don't want to keep the head priests waiting.
No, probably best not to.
And, he gives another firm clasp on the back before he folds his hands very monastically and guides the group into the special you're allowed to come in here entrance.
In spite of himself, Ninden smirks a little bit when he sees Tendon do that, because that's not a side that he sees very often of his brother.
Right. There's some traditions here. It's very churchy. It's a good church, but it's a church. So yeah, you're all invited in.
All right.
So you enter the sparkling, glimmering inner chamber of the Radiant Cathedral, this massive structure. Ninden got the grand tour shortly after arriving here, but I don't know how many of you have actually been inside the cathedral before. I imagine maybe Herald and Kaylin have seen inside at some point, just because it's something to do while you're here, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mouse
yeah,
isn't
at
really
some
into
point.
touristy stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we've done the tour.
Yeah, where they let you go. But no, you're guided into a deeper chamber. This Gur is laid upon a special altar. This only a certain echelon of worshipper is typically allowed in here for this specific ceremony, but Tendon has arranged to allow everyone to be here. You look up, the archway, the buttresses just above you are immensely high, especially compared to how small the chamber is by comparison. You imagine it's probably somewhere from maybe 30 by 30 feet and kind of round in shape. And because of the centrally placed altar, you think that this might be a chamber specifically for this purpose.
Well, that's handy.
A room for everything. I mean, with a building this big.
Yeah.
Right. So as you wait, you're given a specific area to stand in to observe. The chamber begins to fill with different robed individuals of all different kinds of species, just kind of coming in. They're hooded as if to the word escaped my brain. They look humbled, and you can tell that some more decorated individuals enter. You suspect these are the people who are going to actually be carrying out the ritual.
Actually, Harald might grab the attention of Tendon and ask,
Sure.
quietly, out of curiosity, how often does this not work?
Tendon raises a brow and he thinks and he goes, I have not done this ritual much. From what I understand, there are factors involved. First, the Dawnflower must find it within herself to grant this favor. Beyond that, the person that we reach out to, if they're still available, they have to want to return.
All right.
Don't make us look bad, Gur.
Harald is concerned, but lets Tendon go back to his job.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like he's going to be the one leading whatever prayer is required for this ritual. You see that various expensive materials are being laid about on the table surrounding Gur. You see diamonds, different types of gems and jewelry that are laid about in very specific arrangements around Gur's lifeless form. You know that just based on where they're being placed and the speed at which they're being placed there, which is very slow, that their specific location is probably very important. So it seems like everything has been gathered and the doors shut, and wordlessly Tendon looks about the room to make sure everything's in place, passing a glance over at Ninden and his friends, giving a very solemn nod.
Ninden nods back.
Mouse refrains from shooting a thumbs up.
So Tendon steps up to the altar, and he holds out his hands. And around this time, the room starts to chant something under their breath, some sort of ancient tongue, some sort of Serenite language that's used specifically for this ritual. But in common, you hear Tendon start to pray. Flower of the dawn, mother of the burning light, she who calls for from the darkness speaks to one who is lost. In life, he never backed away from a fight. If allowed to languish in death, he can only allow injustice to prosper. He played fair and true, and without him, the innocents will be lied to, followers lost. If allowed to remain in the darkness, he can never again bathe in the glory of your light, nor lay down his life for his allies. Dawnflower, hear our call from the shadows. Listen to our pleas for light to return, the breath to reawaken, to the light to shine once more through his eyes. At this point, he starts to join the others in their prayer, and it starts to repeat. The chant starts to drone melodically, quiet at first, but it slowly starts to rise in volume. You don't know how long this is going on, but it never gets to the point where it feels excessive or awkward. Somehow the energy in the room just kind of seems to pulse. It feels as though a great power is rising in this consecrated space. At once, the chamber seems to darken, as though the light within was produced by a candle that is just starting to flicker. The chanting at that point gets louder and louder before a single powerful light from some unseen source starts to extend downward from the vaulted ceiling of the chamber. Like a slow moving ray, the altar that Gur is laying on is touched, and his body softly glows. Gur.
Oh, what?
It has been years. Your life here has entered something like a new normal. Routine has taken over as you continue your work on the land, your work for those who remember. You and your mother live in a peaceful home, providing for others as well as each other in this strange land, waiting for your chance to return. The people of Persistence have come to love you, and the others of those who remember respect you as a valued member of the community. You've started to form new memories here, but whenever you return to your home, you remember your friends and you remember the life you used to have as you read the names on your walls. One day, you are removing the stems from carrots on the kitchen table, and you notice something in the corner of your eye. You see a single pinpoint of light, and just based on the orientation, you think it's coming from the Lake of Infinity.
Without really thinking much about it, he's just gonna kind of put down the carrots and the knife and go out towards the light.
As you're leaving, your mother is coming in with a gathering of different vegetables that need to be prepared, and she goes, "Gur, where are you headed?"
Can't you see it? And he gestures toward the light.
She looks out and she squints, leans forward a little bit, and she shakes her head. "I don't know what you're talking about."
Just come with me, and he takes her hand and just kind of leads her that way.
She puts the vegetables down and she joins you. So I take it you're just heading straight towards the light.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start to walk the familiar paths, the ones that you and Thalamar used to take when you first got here all those years ago. And, sometimes you still do. Sometimes you still join Thalamar on the beach, play tunes with him, and he's taken even more shape as you've come to know him. He sees you and your mother arrive at the beach, and he puts down his instrument and he goes, "Gur, what brings you here today? You come to keep me company?"
No, old friend. Today it's something different. Do you not see it as well? Am I the only one?
He sees, he gives a polite bow to your mother and then looks back at you as if like the words that you said took a few seconds to actually reach him. And he looks up and he looks out over the water. And you see him take a slow breath. And he goes, "It's time, isn't it?"
Time? For what?
He looks down and he goes, "You see a light on the lake, don't you?"
I do, yes.
Now that you're here, the light is more intense. You don't see exactly where it is, but you know it's out in the water. You know you could walk to it, and you feel like you want to. And Thalamar nods and he says, That's the light to the other side. Somebody has called you back to the prime material."
This is marvelous.
He nods, though he seems a little bit sad because he knows that he's going to have to say goodbye to you. But and your mother's beside herself; she doesn't really know what to think of this situation.
Yeah, no. Gur is excited, but then he realizes all of this at once, and his expression changes from excitement to concern, and he says,
"But you were all fine without me before. You will be fine without me again. I'm sure that. I've talked to you for many years now about the unfinished business I have in the other world. I must return. We all know this."
Yeah, and your mother. It's a difficult thing because it was so sudden. She was just bringing back vegetables. She was looking back to. She was looking forward to spending time in the kitchen with you, just talking. Preparing them to deliver them to the villagers, and now suddenly you're leaving, and she doesn't know when or if she is ever going to see you again. But she also knows that you're getting a second chance. And so through the tears, she brings up her thick fingers and just runs them over her cheek, and she braves a smile for you, and she says, You need to go, Gur. How else am I going to get brought back to life, huh?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. And Gur just kind of holds back tears of his own as he just gives his mom a big bear hug.
Yeah, Thalamar just watches with a warm smile as you two embrace. And he does eventually lean in and he says, I know that this is a moment for you. I imagine it is, but these windows do close, Gur.
Ah. Very well. No long goodbyes then. And he wipes the tears from his mother's cheeks and turns to his friend, gives him a brief hug as well, and then heads off into the light.
Yeah, and your mother calls out, "Remember to bring me back, Gur. I won't forgive you if you don't."
And Gur just kind of laughs and says, how could I ever forget?" As he kind of walks off.
And Thalamar calls out also, saying, "And look me up as well. Thalamar, bring me back too." They're using humor to try and diffuse the situation a little bit. But yes, you find that just like before, the water is shallow. You can wade through it. You walk towards the light, which is looking almost like a bonfire made of pure white, sitting in the middle of the lake. Just a moment.
Ooh, do we have art?
At some point. Not quite yet. The flame, as you approach it, moves in slow motion, more like a thick smoke than a flame. The center glows brighter as you approach, and you can start to feel yourself pulled forward, as if whatever awaits you on the other side beckons you.
Gur continues.
Yes. Sorry, I should have assumed as much. I just don't like to roleplay your character for you.
No, hey, that's fine. That's fine. I appreciate the agency.
You close in within feet of this bonfire before suddenly you step into nothing. You fall rapidly into the surface of the water, immediately submerged. The sensation is disorienting and violent at first, but you feel yourself just kind of surrounded in rushing water. Your immediate jerk reaction is to struggle against the feeling, but the sensation of rushing water eventually gives way, and it starts to feel like bedding. And at some point, you realize that you're just lying down and your eyes are closed.
What?
You open your eyes. They're blurry, but even still, you know that you haven't seen this arrangement of lights above your head before. While you're reorienting yourself, a strange shape leans over you. Something living, but their head and their face is unfamiliar to you. And you hear them say, "Venator, has Wraithu returned you to me?"
Wait, what?
What? What?
And Gur just kind of like is unable to speak.
This figure puts their hands on you and gives you a shake and says, "Venator, please tell me you've come back."
And Gur just kind of like in his head just thinks, why can't I talk?
At this point, the hands leave you immediately, and you watch as the figure beside you sharply recoils. You understand now that you're laying on some sort of bed or table, and you see the figure turn and with something of a distressed call, you hear them call, Zephyr! Captain Zephyr, it's Venator. They sound really distressed.
Ger's just can he move at all, or is he?
Yeah, you can try to move, and you realize that you definitely feel like you've atrophied or something. You use the appropriate amount of effort to move yourself, and it feels wrong.
Yeah, Ger tries to sit up. Can he sit up?
Yeah, it takes a moment, and you wobble, but you're able to get into a sitting position. You recognize that you're in what looks like is not supposed to be, but is currently being utilized as a medical lab, or maybe some sort of first aid room. You don't recognize any of your surroundings. And the person that is standing a few feet away from your bed, you've never seen them before, and they're calling out the door.
Ger tries to say, where's Ninden? Where's my friends?
Your voice is completely different.
Is completely what? Sorry?
Your voice is completely different. It's not your voice at all.
Where's my friends?
So emerging from the doorway is a person, a very strange looking individual, and I have a portrait of them. Let's see here.
Yes!
Whoa!
Dressed in bizarre armor that you've never seen before, and with a few weapons on his person that he has lowered. He comes in and looks at the person who called for him and says, "Is it him?" And she, or they, hold their hands to their chest and look over at you, Gurren, and shake their head in what appears to be a very solemn gesture. And somehow you can sense that she's sad. Like, you can feel that she's sad. Beyond that, this new individual is regarding you as though you might be a threat, but he doesn't raise his gun at you. But he approaches and holds up a hand, and he says, "Stranger, there's a lot that I'm going to need to explain, and I don't have a lot of time to do it." And that's where we're going to stop for today.
Oh no!
You know, Mouse was banking on Gur just coming back and then being able to be like, yeah, everything's fine.
Like, that wasn't a big deal. He's back.
Ta-da!
I memed too
Oh
soon.
boy.
That's,
You memed.
I memed too soon.
that's episode 22, A Cry from the Deep.
Oh boy.
Ugh. Ugh.
Well, Pronk.
But what happened on our end?
We'll get to that next episode.
Dang it. Pronk you, Seth.
Same star time, same star channel.
Oh my god.
Stay tuned on the Infosphere.
Indeed. Well, is there anything for us to address before the episodes end? I can think of one thing.
The thing we say every week. There's new Cosmic Crit tonight.
Right. There is that.
I think I'm actually almost caught up finally.
I am in the
Back
process
on
of
my podcast.
catching up. Indeed. Yeah. I have found myself in a similar situation where I slid behind in a few things, and I'm trying to rectify that. I do believe I am caught up because I'm listening to Slugly Betty currently, which is the episode I put out last week.
That's the most recent one.
Yeah. I'll be caught up this week.
It sounds like you had something else to talk about, though, Seth.
I do. There is the potential that another interview might be happening. It was going to happen maybe this week, but it was not correct. The timing was bad, and the timing next week is bad. But the week after that, it sounds like the author of this book that we just finished, by the way, we have finished book 4,
Woo!
The Blind City. And something I should probably mention is that all surviving player characters are now level 9. So
Woo!
look
not
forward to that. Well, I mean, is Gur level 9? I don't know. There's complex things to talk about. We'll get to it.
Lots of questions.
Questions that need answering.
Exactly, Leaf. High five.
Oh my goodness. I just
So-
with this whole Gur being dead thing. Too many feels. I protest.
You're telling me.
I will say it one last time, dear listeners. It is okay to feel things.
Don't listen to him. No, it's not.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and process our emotions for a week, and then we'll be back to obtain more emotions to process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or as
There's no
Butt
winning.
Stubble suggested in the chat, we could always just go and play Skittershot for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and leave you all on a horrendous cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? I don't feel like GMing for a little bit. When you take a break, someone else just runs Skittershot for a while. Like we'll just run the same
run Grimmer
module.
Space. Yeah.
We'll run the same module 3 times in a row.
You absolutely monster.
I think Butt Stubble wants that. Looking at the chat.
Yeah, that seems like
saying
a pretty
yes.
vehement yes.
We'll think about it. We'll talk about it after the episode's over. We'll see if
Yeah, as
Sorry,
everybody
guys.
knows, a long no means yes.
Vehement, Nick?
Yes.
Behemoth, yes, Behemoth.
Behemoth.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
that's
and Behemoth. Right. Okay, yeah.
Behemoth. All right, let's get out of this. Everybody, go
No.
ahead. We're gonna wrap this up.
Love you all,
Stick-
viewers.
Bye.
Stick
everybody.
around
Thanks
for
so much.
Fireside and, debrief and talk about our traumas with Gur.
Yeah, we're gonna go do now.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves, everyone.